All right, let's come to order here. Everybody come to order, please. Come to order. All right. Welcome to a meeting of the Indian Wells City Council. I hope everybody had a nice summer. It's great to see everybody. We haven't seen you a couple of months. Things have been dark, but we have all been working. And we've been working downstairs in a closed session for the last couple of hours, which is why we were late. So we apologize. We had a long closed session today. But we got a lot accomplished, and we're ready now for the open session. Members of the public who wish to speak should fill out a blue slip and submit it to the city clerk, Angelica. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. In accordance with state law, remarks during public comment are to be limited to subjects within the city's jurisdiction. If you are unable to provide comments during the meeting, written comments on the agenda or non-agenda items or both may be submitted at cityclerk@indianwells.com, is that right? Okay, cityclerk@indianwells.com an hour prior to the start of the meeting. If you are an individual with a disability and need a reasonable accommodation pursuant to the ADA, please contact the city clerk at 760-346-2489, 48 hours before the hearing, which I think is already over with. Please turn off your telephones, please, so you have no ringing. If you haven't done that already, put them on vibrate. All documents for public review are available for public inspection at City Hall reception, 44-950 El Dorado Drive, Indian Wells, during normal business hours. All right, Councilmember Penna, will you lead us in the salute to the flag?
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you roll call the City Council?
Councilmember Sanders.
Present.
Councilmember Penna.
Present.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Reed.
Present.
Mayor Whitman.
Here.
Do we have a motion to approve the final agenda?
Motion to approve. Second motion. And I'm going to ask that item G8
G8 will be pulled.
Can you turn on your mic? Mayor, if you can turn on your.
Yes, yeah, I got it. All right, so the vote for the approval of the final agenda with the exception of consent item G8. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Next, we'll go to subsection C, proclamations and presentations. Mr. City Manager, do you have an introduction?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do, actually. So let me, first and foremost, we would like to welcome a new member and a new face to the City of Indian Wells team, and that is our new Senior Executive Assistant to the City Manager, Irene Morales. Irene, if you could please stand. Irene comes to the City of Indian Wells after 7 years of work with the College of the Desert, where she was in a previous role of the executive assistant to the CEO and the Board of Trustees over there, so she served a quite similar role. She's a graduate from Cal State San Bernardino, where she got her undergraduate degrees, and she just recently received her master's degree last year. So congratulations, welcome to Indian Wells.
Thank you. Okay, subsection C2, Emergency Preparedness Month proclamation presented to Indian Wells Emergency Services Coordinator, Linda Soto. Linda, are you here? Come on up. This way. This is a proclamation, whereas emergencies and disasters can occur without warning, posing significant risks to the safety and well-being of individuals, families, and communities. And whereas Emergency Preparedness Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness, promote readiness, and encourage collaboration among local agencies, organizations, and residents. And a lot of other whereases, including whereas the City of Indian Wells commends the dedication of emergency management professionals, first responders, volunteers, and public servants who work tirelessly to protect and support our community. Therefore, I, Bruce Whitman, Mayor of the City of Indian Wells, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of September as Emergency Preparedness Month in the City of Indian Wells and encourage all residents to take steps to prepare themselves, their families, and their neighborhoods for emergencies of all kinds. Thank you, Linda, for all that you do. Thank you. You have a presentation now.
I do, yes. Well, thank you again for that. Happy Preparedness Month, everybody. For those that don't know me, I think I accidentally clicked it. I am Linda Soto. I'm the Emergency Services Coordinator with Indian Wells. I've been with Indian Wells for about 3 years. Prior to coming to Indian Wells, I actually worked as a nurse. I also have some fire background and EMS background. So one of my biggest missions here at Indian Wells is to strengthen our city preparedness and resilience. So the city contracts with Emergency Management Department with Riverside County. Part of that contract includes planning and the plans updates, community outreach and preparedness programs, staff training and exercises, and support during EOC activations. This ensures alignment with the county and state and federal protocols. So, emergency management plans overview. We recently just updated our emergency operations plan, which hopefully will be adopted today. We also included new annexes to our emergency operations plan. In 2024, we updated our local hazard mitigation plan. And in addition to those two plans, we also do an integrated preparedness plan, which is for training. I also do a concept of operations for the tennis tournament, and then event actions plans for whatever events, big events that are going on within the city. Staff training. Staff training just ensures that we remain current on all required training, that we're compliant with ICS, SIMS, and NIMS standards. And SIMS is a standardized emergency management system, and NIMS is the National Incident Management System. This ensures that we do get reimbursed by FEMA and the state. We deliver role-specific EOC training, which strengthens our EOC operations, and I apologize. EOC is our Emergency Operations Center here within the city. We conduct exercises. Just last year, we had a training back in November, along with the tennis gardens and surrounding jurisdictions, which included an exercise for evacuations. If there was an event at the tennis tournament. We do CPR, AED, and first aid training. We recently just updated all of the AEDs to be compatible with what fire has, so we're pretty proud of that. Community preparedness overview. We have our community emergency preparedness backpacks, which actually the sales start on Monday, September 8th. Yeah, which encourages residents to have supplies for 72 hours. Just remembering that this is meant to be just like a starter backpack and just to add stuff to the backpack for yourself. We also offer 12 steps of emergency preparedness, which encourage residents to stay informed and know your hazards, to make a plan and practice it, build a kit, including kits for your pets, and prepare your home and finances, and to stay involved and sign up for alerts. Community preparedness overview. So the Community Emergency Response Team, I hope you guys have all heard of CERT. If not, please reach out to me, but it's training in disaster response, first aid, fire safety, and search and rescue. The next anticipated training is in November. Indian Wells also has a HOA radio program, which connects our city's HOAs and communities directly to our EOC, so they're able to communicate during an incident. This provides direct, reliable, and emergency messaging. So looking ahead for Preparedness Month, if you would like to have a 12 Steps of Emergency Preparedness presentation, you can contact me, Linda Soto, with the city to request this. Please look out for the Indian Wells Fast Facts on social media for more tips and preparedness tips. And then, as we were saying earlier, once again, our community emergency preparedness bags go on sale September 8th. And then please sign up for emergency notifications through Nixle, Alert Rivco, which is the county's form of Nixle, and Shake Alert. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody on council have any questions for Ms. Soto?
Just briefly, Linda, could you share with everyone here kind of the modern, current actions one takes in an earthquake? It used to be, you'd crawl under a table or you'd run to the bathroom. I think we've revised that a bit. What's your current thinking?
Right, so remember the old get into a door jam and stay there? They're saying that that is not reliable anymore because it can't withstand a big earthquake. So the most important thing is to protect your head. So trying to get under a table, if you're not close to a table, get something to cover your head and crouch down to the floor as low as possible.
Anybody else? Anybody else? How much are the bags?
They're $50.
Okay,
And
thank
they
you.
come with a lot of goodies. And
They
if you
do.
want to see them, we have the bag here.
We have one in our garage. Is that an
Yeah.
appropriate place to have one?
Yeah, your garage, your car, next to your bed. Put some shoes in that bag, and then that way you have shoes ready to go by your bag.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
All right, well, I think the bag is great for anybody that doesn't have one. I really recommend it. It's really great. It's a good feeling to know that it's right there and it's well organized and has all the things you need.
Yep, and you can add to it. It's a big enough bag.
Yeah,
And they'll be gone in about 5 minutes.
that's right. Yeah,
I hope so. I hope we have a line out the door again. This community wants to be prepared, and I'm pretty proud of that.
well, you do a great job. Thank you,
All
Linda.
right, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have somebody here from the Fine Food Bank to make a presentation? I thought maybe it was you.
I'm in orange. You know what that means. I'm going to match your city where you're lighting up.
Okay.
Well, happy Hunger Action Month, everybody. Thank you so much for having me back here again. I'm Debbie Espinosa, and CEO of Fine Food Bank. And I just want to thank all of you here at the City of Indian Wells, from the city council members to the staff to all of the community. Hunger Action Month is going on across the United States. All of the Feeding America regional food banks, Fine Food Bank is one of the regional food banks that serves this desert region. All of our cities are lighting up in orange, all of monuments around the United States to remind people that there's still food insecurity that is going on here in our country. And it's the responsibility of all of our communities to make sure that all of our citizens are being taken care of, for those that are struggling with finding where their next meal is coming from. That's kind of the last thing that we want. We're such a prosperous nation. We have so many things and so much abundance that's here. And so to think about people that may be wondering where their next meal is coming from, we have the ability to stop that by how we are in community. And so one of the things that I like to do as part of Hunger Action Month is to come out and talk to all of the cities and let you guys know how you are doing as a city, not just to your own city, but to the community. Because as you know, the Coachella Valley, we are one. So we may have each one of our own jurisdictions, but we're one of the areas, I think, for all the areas that I've lived in, and I've lived in multiple areas across the United States, where I really see cities and counties coming together, because we are kind of like a unique island unto ourselves here in California. And I think we understand that. So together we make a difference. For Indian Wells, you have about 10% of your population that register by all of the studies as food insecure. And it's a double digit. It's not the highest double digit, but it's definitely not one of the lower it's not one of the lower digits either. Because we have a lot of people that are fixed income seniors. We have a lot of people that are seniors and aunts or uncles that might be taking care of grandkids, right? And when you have 86% of all of the children throughout the Coachella Valley that are in public schools that qualify for free and reduced lunch, we know that all of our cities can be affected by it at certain percentages. But what's great about Indian Wells is your partnership with Find Food Bank has been wonderful. We have over 1,700 people that attend mobile markets here in the Indian Wells area, because we have community partners in Indian Wells that are distributing healthy and nutritious food for free. And then we have Indian Well residents that are also attending distributions throughout the Coachella Valley, about 700 of them at other distribution sites, because maybe it's closer to work, or maybe it's closer to, en route from where they're going from point A to B, and it happens to be the one that's in the best logistics. But not only that, you have over 150 volunteers that reside here in Indian Wells. And next week, I'm very happy to say that the Indian Wells city staff, mayors, council members, people will be coming to Find Food Bank to also do volunteerism to help us process. We process 20 million pounds of food on average every year. 20 million pounds that's going into our area. And it takes over 2,000 volunteers to be able to do that. So we are really appreciative of not just Indian Wells allowing us to come in and do some sites within your cities, but you guys are also giving back in that way. And on top of that, on September the 26th, you guys have already RSVP'd to attend the grand opening of the brand new food security campus that Find Food Bank is launching this year after we've completed our second expansion building. So we're excited to have you there too. So I'm here to answer any questions that you have. This is an education session as much as a thank you session for everything that you've been doing, but we just always want to make sure that everybody is in tune with what is going on in our community current day.
Any questions or comments from council?
Sure. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you.
Been to your new facilities several times and participated in a number of events, telethons, et cetera. It's really impressive. And for anybody in this room who hasn't been to the food bank, please go. It's clean, it's gorgeous, it's incredibly busy. I think I went to the day when Amazon came in with volunteers as well, like 50 of them, and it was really impressive. I'm sharing this also because the number of meals that you serve on a monthly basis in Coachella Valley to children is staggering to me. And it's easy for all of us in Indian Wells to not have a sense of all the communities around us and the needs that they have. But the food bank thrives because of volunteerism, donations, and so I'd urge everyone to go visit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And yes, we have seen you there. You're always there. We appreciate it because it takes the support of everybody from the community to make the work happen. For those of you that don't know about Find Food Bank with regards to the 20 million pounds, as the regional food bank, we are the regional food bank for this area. And the reason why we bring in 20 million pounds is we are resourcing donated food from across the United States. specifically for our area, and we push that food out to over 100 nonprofit community partners. Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, Martha's, all of the different places where you may be volunteering to as well or donating to as individuals, but we are filling their pantries and we are stocking them to make sure that they don't run dry. 75% of our supply goes out to all of those nonprofits. The other 25% goes to our mobile pantries that fill in the holes where there are true food deserts and there are no locations for people that are food insecure to go to. We send out our trucks there too on top of that. And so it takes everybody to be able to do it. And with regards to what you're saying, Councilmember Taylor, not all cities are the same when it comes to the number of food insecure that they have. But I can definitely say that with everybody's participation in helping those that are food insecure, it will take all of our communities to make sure that our community is good. And so I appreciate Indian Wells understanding that it may not all be going directly to here, but it's going out to a lot of other cities too as well. So thank you.
Anybody else? You know, the telethon's fun, but the really great day at Food Bank is working on the line at the mobile stations and, you know, putting the food into the trunk. I mean, it's a long day, but it's a great day.
Yeah.
When is the next mobile?
The next mobile mart, well, here's something interesting. We actually opened up our third mobile pantry. So last year when I presented, we had 2, and we opened up a third one here in Indian Wells. Southwest Church is now becoming one of our larger super sites because they have the parking lot to be able to accommodate. So it won't just be Indian Wells residents. It'll serve Indian Wells, La Quinta, Palm Desert, and the surrounding areas for people that are coming through there from work to home or wherever it may be.
And when is the next one at Southwest?
You know what? I need to look. If you go to findfoodbank.org,
Okay.
we have our displays there with regards to when those are. So I apologize, I don't have it off the top of my head, but we have 22 of them. So unfortunately, my head can't remember all
Right.
that anymore.
Well, anyway, that's great that you're using the Southwest Church parking lot. That's fabulous. Because I know we went down to Indio, and it's a little bit of a hike, but it's
Yeah.
right around the corner.
Yeah,
All right, well, good.
Thank
Well,
you.
let us know when the date is for the next mobile
we will, and we're
And
looking
so-
forward to seeing you all next week on Wednesday.
at the
All right.
the event.
At the volunteer activity just for Indian Wells,
Oh,
and then
okay.
events at the end of the month.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Coachella Valley Mosquito and Vector Control presentation by General Manager Jeremy Whitty. Hey, Jeremy.
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. It's a pleasure to be here to give my 5-minute update to the City Council on what's going on with CV mosquito and what's the buzz in public health. Accompanying me today is John Vallette. He's our trustee from the City of Indian Wells. He stepped on board. Give him a round of applause. Yeah. He stepped on the City Council, made a wise decision with John. He's stepped on the board in January. He's on our Finance Committee, really taking an active role with the district, so it's great to have him on board. But I want to keep moving. Here to again, a thank you. The city update your landscape ordinance, I think last year. My brain's getting fuzzy all the time, but included our district to comment on some of those pieces, and I appreciate the city making that available to us. And also I want to thank for the council members. I know Councilmember Sanders, Councilmember Taylor has visited our district, and I encourage all of you who haven't been to our district, please reach out. I'd be glad to have you and show you about what we're all about at our district there in Indio. I'm going to tell you about virus activity that's going on right now, district strategic business plan, projects that we have in this coming fiscal year, our golf course REFA program, and then answer questions. CVMosquito.org is our great website. Everything you need to know about vector control, mosquitoes, red reporter fire ants, service requests, information about mosquitoes is all there. If you go to our landing page and click on virus activity, it'll take you to this page, and it shows you where virus activity is happening within the last 2 weeks. Fortunately, most of our activity has been in the East Valley, where we try to keep it because it's less people there, and that's typically where it does crop up because we have a lot of birds and a lot of mosquitoes. So currently, we have some activity down there, but nowhere up valley and none currently in Indian Wells. Indian Wells mosquito sources. While the ordinance is working hard to eliminate those in the future, we still have some that we keep tabs on. Since January, our staff has been out to about 1,200 sources inspected and treated. We've had 54 service requests from city residents, mosquito issues, red and porter fire ants, if you have flies or things like that. And then our top 2 mosquito sources that you can see, my AI mosquito, don't count the legs, it's not right, should have 6, are those catch basins that you have on the city streets. Any water running down the streets is feeding, they love that, that's where they're breeding. And also, if you have one of those lawn drains or those French drains sitting out in your front yard, get that thing looked at on a weekly basis if you can get the water cleared out. We find that if those boxes are broken, they don't hold water, which is perfect. So ultimately, those should have a gravel base, so the water that sits in them percolates into the ground. So if it's a solid box, you're just breeding mosquitoes right in your front or backyard. So that's a good place to start and a good way to protect yourself. How to protect yourself in the city of Indian Wells? Make sure Indian Wells prides itself in a lush desert environment. Make sure those sprinklers are working correctly. Make sure they're not spraying onto the hardscape sidewalks down the street. Not only does it make the mosquitoes happy, it doesn't make your public works happy either because it breaks down the streets and it erodes them. Also, mosquito repellent. That is a superhero. I get people, I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. My first question, do you wear mosquito repellent? No, it works. I know it's kind of a pain to have and have to apply that, but if you're getting bit by mosquitoes, EPA recommended repellents do work, and it's at some point in time, unfortunately, we do have to use it, so have that in your go bag or in the backyard where you might need it. Our strategic business plan, our board, our staff are committed to strategic planning. Every 3 years, we do a strategic business plan. If you scan that QR code, you can take a look at our most recent version of that. That's getting updated to ClearGov, so eventually be a little more interactive, but that's a PDF. Feel free to take a look at that. Questions, please let me know. A couple things that I'm excited about at our district that we're working on. Not using ray guns to zap mosquitoes, but using male mosquitoes to control female mosquitoes. So our staff in our laboratory, our trained scientists, and not only in our district, but other districts in California, are using sterile male mosquitoes. Male mosquitoes don't bite, but they do like female mosquitoes. And if they find a wild female mosquito that we release these sterile mosquitoes into a neighborhood, they will find those females, mate with them, and she mates once in her lifetime. So she'll use that sperm to fertilize those eggs for her whole lifetime and make those eggs non-viable. So this is something that helps us. The mosquitoes do the work, and mosquitoes can't become resistant to this. So this is something exciting that we're working on here, not only in our district, but in California. We're expanding some of our facilities to provide more service. One of those is this sterile mosquito program. And then also, something I think Councilmember Taylor saw firsthand was our drone program. We have a top-notch drone program and crew. We use drones not only for using them to look for mosquito sources in the East Valley primarily, around the Salton Sea. We have not golf courses there. We have duck clubs that breed mosquitoes. We use drones now to not only look for where those mosquitoes are, but also make mosquito control applications. And we don't have fire ants operating them. We have great staff that do that, and I'm really proud of that. All these things you can come check out if you visit. The last thing, golf course reef maintenance program. We have a staff of 70 strong, but we have a 2,400 square mile service area. With our invasive Aedes mosquito, if you're getting bit on your elbow and ankles, we have a new invasive mosquito in California that has increased our workload. We're trying to work smarter with the sources that we do have. So we're working with golf courses who have certified pesticide applicators to make some applications for us. And so if the golf courses, we have about 11 more that I think in Indian Wells that haven't signed up yet. If our golf course superintendents are interested, we sign an agreement. We give them the control product, we train them how to apply it, and then we monitor to make sure it's working. So we have them working with us as a partnership to make sure we're keeping those red and porter fire ants at bay. And I think thanks to Indian Wells Country Club, they're the first ones who signed up, and looking forward to working with them. Lastly, it is virus season, so take precautions, cover up. I know it's hot. On a day like this, you don't want to be wearing a bunch of long sleeve pants and shirts. Use that mosquito repellent. Protect yourself using repellent. Get rid of that standing water. Check out our website. We have a lot of great things on there. Sterile mosquitoes, better facilities, drones, oh my. We have a reef maintenance program. Please encourage your golf courses. If you at HOA with a golf course, they haven't signed up, have them reach out to me. There's my contact information, my cell phone number, and my email address. And also, if you're interested in the business that Trustee Valette does there in the back, second Tuesday of every month, we are doing the business of the people, but mosquito control. So the council is invited, and anyone who lives within our district. So check us out, 6 p.m. next week, or you can Zoom in and see if you want to actually come physically. We're on Zoom, and so we're also available that way. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Whitting?
Just a comment. Pardon me, I've got a perpetual frog in my throat. First of all, you guys, yeah, exactly. You guys do a great job. My son owns a home in La Quinta. He had an invasion of fire ants. I mean, you guys were on it, and thank you.
Yeah.
Second thing, I'm not going to ask you how to explain how you tell the difference between a male mosquito and a female mosquito. You all will have to visit the vector controls facilities to find out.
I taught my kids, so it's pretty easy. They can spot them on the fly now, but it has to do with the antenna.
Yeah.
But yes, but definitely a visit, and I can show you even closer.
Yeah. It's a fascinating tour.
Have you implemented the sterile males out into the area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we're going to be working in doing some catch and release trials this fall in the East Valley, in the Mecca area. We're also working with there's Orange County Vector Control District, Greater LA are also doing those actively now and doing that. So it's up and running, but we're going to be we've been working currently with how much dose of the radiation to give them so that they're still sexy for the wild females.
So the radioactive mosquitoes and.
Not radioactive, no, just they're just X-rays, little gray radiation. Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely noticed a decrease in mosquitoes, especially where I live. I don't know if that's attributed to the males. If you haven't let them out yet, then you're obviously doing an amazing job, because 4 years ago, I was being destroyed by mosquitoes. And this year, I think I've had one bite, and that's pretty good coming into September. So thank you so much for all your work over there.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Do you go and examine the parks, like the Indian Wells Park?
Yeah,
'Cause
so
I have noticed some fire ants up
we
there.
do have, so our focus, and the reason we're kind of pushing the golf courses to do their part, because they have staff that are certified to do applications. We're focusing on parks and school grounds as well. So we should be, I don't know the last time we treated it, like, I don't have anything in my head firsthand, but yeah, we do all the parks in all 9 cities.
Brian?
I have one more question.
Sure.
So the Portuguese black ant, those, how long have they been in the valley?
I don't know. The only
Okay.
ant we focus on is red imported fire ant,
Okay.
Portuguese black ant. I don't know much about, but yeah. So yeah, if folks, we have a lot of ants in the valley, and our staff are trained on red imported fire ants. So if we do have a technician that comes, we actually have native fire ants that, again, we don't want to control. So when our staff do come out either to a park or to a residence, if they don't think or they know that's not a red imported fire ant, we won't make an application, because if you knock them out, knock an ant like an Argentine ant or something like that, which is also a nuisance, fire ants can take their place.
Okay. Yeah, they do bite, by the way. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Whitting.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any public comments?
Yes, we have
Okay.
2, Mayor.
All right, well, let me read this. Members of the public who wish to speak on consent items or items not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Speakers will be alerted when their time is up and are then to return to their seats, and no further comments will be permitted. Please note that while the City Council values your comments, the Council cannot respond nor take action on matters not listed on the agenda until the matter may appear on the forthcoming agenda. So this is for comments on the consent items or items not on the agenda.
Yes, we have Mr. Tyler Shiganaga, followed by Jenny Whitman.
Okay. Tyler? Is Tyler here? There you are. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, City South, thank you. Recently I toured the Variety for Children, and it's kind of part of the Grants and Aid. They invited me in, so I decided to go take advantage of it. They showed me some of the programs that they have available, and one of them was an autism program they do have. They recently became autism certified. So once I learned a little bit more about that, I found out that the City of Palm Desert, they actually have a reimbursement program. It's a reimbursement grant program that they have available to their businesses and hospitality, and it's roughly about $30,000. And basically what it does is it kind of splits the cost, or at least the expense, of becoming a certified autism destination. I know here in the city, the Renaissance, they recently became autism certified. So what I was proposing is, can the city council explore if there's any capacity in the budget to maybe create a reimbursement grant for our destinations to become autism certified? The reason being is just because seeing that we're so dependent on TOT, I think there's a lot of value inside that. I think just given the budget that Palm Desert has compared to ours, we probably won't need to have that much available. But seeing that we, it's just really another reason to bring in families, give them another choice. And, you know, when it comes to autism, it's not really just catering specifically to kids. It's also catering all the way up to adults. And there have been issues like you've seen on the news where somebody does have autism and it becomes a whole issue, and you know, cops are called in and whatever. Well, at least in this case, the staff is going to be aware. They're going to know how to handle it. They're going to be just more, I guess they're going to be better trained as to how to handle somebody who does have that. And you know, just given that other cities do have it available, it would be one more reason for more people to come in with families, and seeing that our, you know, Hyatt recently invested a lot inside their slides. They want to become more of a resort destination. From what I've heard, the Renaissance also wants to do that. So once again, if there's any capacity, or at least explore it, look for a reimbursement grant for autism for our businesses here. Thank you.
Well, let me ask a question. So are you asking for the city to look into becoming autism certified as a city, or for the hotels?
Just more of a program, or just like a reimbursement grant for a lot of the businesses here, whether it's hospitality or restaurants. I do know that restaurants, they could also become autism certified, but I think just for our city, it's the larger resorts. I think it's going to have a much larger impact. And it's not like we would actually be necessarily providing all the funding. I think it'd probably be split between the resort and the city, just kind of offset the costs.
I have a question, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Can you expand a little bit more on what Palm Desert's doing right now with this program?
To be quite frank, I know Visit Palm Springs, they could probably give you a lot more, or Visit Greater Palm Springs,
Okay.
they can give you a little bit more information about it. But from what I've heard, or at least my understanding of it is, they split the expense, or at least they provide some reimbursement for if they do go through the whole program, because it is fairly expensive, because depending on how many people you have on staff, it can become quite onerous on a business. So that was my thought process, is if we can offset some of that cost, it gives them more reason to, especially when you're looking at a hotel like Renaissance or Hyatt, where something like Sands, you know, is probably a little bit easier for them to do that.
Thank you.
Question for the city attorney. Would we be precluded by the Brown Act from, for example, sending the request that was made just now to the Finance Committee?
Mayor and council, no.
We can do that?
Yes, you can do that. You're not taking any action on it, you're just referring it to a committee.
Having served on the Visit Greater Palm Springs Board of Directors, I remember well when the idea of autism certification first came up. The city is autism certified, but it never dawned on me that maybe the hotels ought to be too. And I think it would be a good incentive for them if we had a kind of a matching grant program. I mean, we've only got 5 hotels, so it can't be all that expensive. I would suggest to the council that maybe we send this to the Finance Committee for consideration and a report back.
Sounds like a good idea, and staff could investigate this and make the presentation to the Finance Committee.
We certainly can. Just to the point, yes, the city is autism certified as a community. I believe Living Desert is. And I believe some of our hotel partners are already. It was a partnership through Visit GPS that they're out there encouraging our community to do so. So if I heard there was a motion, is there a second?
Second.
And then what we'll do is, after the vote, we'll make sure we send to the Finance Committee and give you an update of where the other businesses are in their programs.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Motion passes 5-0 to send this matter to the Finance Committee for review.
Thank you.
Next, Ms. City Clerk.
Hi, good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, Mr. City Manager and staff. My name is Ginny Whitman, and I am the Secretary of the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation. And I'm here today on behalf of the foundation to thank council and city staff for all the support you've provided to the foundation over the past year and for the support that you have pledged for the year ahead. The recognition the foundation receives from the city sends an important message to the residents of our community that preservation is key to a vibrant community, and we are very, very grateful for that. You have in your materials, I think in your consent calendar, a staff report and an attached report that we prepared at the foundation outlining the activities and our achievements of the last year. And this is no doubt the financial support we received from the city has been integral in making all of that possible. Plus, and not least, the assistance we've received from Chris Freeland and staff from his office, in particular Angelica Avila and Catherine Manning has been invaluable to us. And the residents are in fact responding. E-blasts from the city have generated more residents at our events, and we've seen a significant increase in memberships, especially in response to the offer of a discounted membership rate for Indian Wells residents with a resident benefit card. As council liaison, Councilman Penn has been a valuable resource for us as we make plans for the future. I also want to mention how appreciative we are when members of council and staff attend our events. Your presence demonstrates a belief in that what we do is important and that it's worth paying attention to. You also have in your materials a list of events we've planned for the coming year. Again, we could not have done this without your generous support. And we have many exciting things planned, and I hope you all are able to attend at least some of them. So again, on behalf of the foundation, thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions for this beautiful lady?
Does she call you Honorable Mayor at home? That's what I want to know.
That's not an appropriate question.
Not in the pillow talk.
Okay.
Anybody? Brian?
No, we'll probably have some questions later when we get into the issue.
Right, that's a whole other issue. I'm really responding to a follow-up on what we did last year.
Yeah, we'll see how honorable the mayor is after this meeting.
Thank you all very much.
No, this concludes our comments for.
We'll close public comments and we'll move to the city manager for the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. I have a variety of announcements and updates for the community. First, the Public Works project on Washington and Miles should be completed in the next couple of weeks. You saw some realignment of streets, also some repaving, so that project should be done and striped here in the next couple of weeks, which is exciting. Electric car chargers have been installed at City Hall, and they'll be activated in the next couple of weeks for the public to use as well. If you look outside the window, you can see that the players' course has come together quite well. It is still slated to open with a soft opening towards the end of November, and we're going to have a grand opening celebration, it looks like the first week of December. The idea there is to try and find as many folks that can come after Thanksgiving, because it's kind of hard for folks to come during the week of Thanksgiving, so we're going to try and do that the following week. But we are looking to do a soft opening the week before, so a lot of excitement to see that happen. If I could, I'd like to recognize our chief, Fire Chief Coates, Matt Coates. He is retiring at the end of the month with 27 and a half years of service. So, Chief Coates has been a true asset to the community, and of course, his service with the Public Safety Committee and the work that our department, our city has done with their department. So, Chief, congratulations. Yeah. Another announcement. Ken Samalo, please stand. On September, oh, go ahead. On September 9th, 2013, Ken Sumalo walked through the doors at Indian Wells City Hall. For over 12 years, he has served the Public Works Department as its director. He is known for creating a wonderful culture in his department, being an excellent leader, invest in his staff's development, and is a key member of the executive team at the City of Indian Wells. He has been instrumental in numerous city projects that we see every day, whether it be the beautiful landscaping, whether it be the FAMD improvements for those of you who live behind the gates at Indian Wells Country Club, the detention basin over there that was built after the flood of Valentine's Day 2019, I think it was. He and his team brought in the recognition of Tree City USA to Indian Wells, all the street repavement projects, his efforts on safer streets, a response to the cleanup, response and cleanup to Tropical Storm Hillary. But here are some of the things you may not know about him. He does not share his dessert. Even if you want a small bite and you ask, he says, no, get your own. He is highly competitive. He and I are always talking trash on the golf course. But more importantly, he has yet to beat me at disc golf. Personally, he is a friend that will be missed because he is retiring in a couple of weeks. So our city staff is very happy for him and thank him for his service. Ken, I think there's some expectation to say a couple words, if we could.
After that, I think protocol demands I say certain things. Councilmember Reed, I promise no more than 4 minutes. I've timed this, so 4 minutes. First, Honorable Mayor and members of the council, thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support, and I look forward to observing your leadership and great things to come in the city. It's been an honor serving the city of Indian Wells for the past 12 years, so thank you. To the residents of the community, thank you for your support. Your willingness to approach me with issues that you have has made us do a better job, so thank you very much. Chris and the executive team, thank you very much. And I was going to let this go, but since you brought it up, the first time Chris and I played golf, I outdrove him by 2 feet. So I want to make sure I may not win and go to its golf, but I have always that to keep in my pocket. And city staff, it's been an honor working with them, with you. I love being a part of this family. It's been a great ride, and I appreciate your tolerance for my quirks. And to be fair, when the menu comes, everyone has a chance to order their own dessert. So sharing isn't really an issue here. Over the past 12 years, we've overcome, as Chris described, multiple flooding events. We've managed a global pandemic. We've managed traffic for one of the world's most prestigious tennis tournaments. And in 2024, we won the inaugural Municipal Co-ed Softball League Championship, thanks in part to my co-coach, Nick Warner. My final task here is to get a support article about the merits of traffic circles published. Perhaps IWViews can do it. So on September 19th, September 19th of this year, my 32 years of public service comes to an end. It's time for me to step aside for a new generation. Dina Purvis will lead your public works team to do great things. They're a positive, fun-loving group, and they will serve you well. I want to thank you, and I also had here curse you for making me cry in public, but I made it through. So thank you very much. It's been an honor.
Councilmember
Mayor,
Sanders, would
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, to Chief Coates, consummate professional, always comes prepared. When he's put to the test at some of our Public Safety Committee meetings, he's always got answers, very responsive. Thank you for your service. It's been great. Ken, when my wife and I first moved to Indian Wells full-time, I went to, I think it was a State of the City meeting here at the golf resort. And we really didn't know anybody on the city staff. And I think Ken saw that we were a little bit bewildered, and he introduced himself. And it was a wonderful gesture. Never forget it. He spent a lot of time with us that morning, and he's been a friend ever since. You will be missed, Ken. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question of staff. Are you finished with your report, Mr. City Manager?
I have one last announcement. Ken kind of alluded to that, but I did want to have Dina Purvis stand up. Dina will serve as the interim Public Works Director upon Ken's retirement. So I wanted to make sure she was introduced. Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Are you through?
Yes, sir.
I have a question regarding the electric vehicle chargers, which I see are sprouting up in front of City Hall. Are those going to be open 24 hours, 7 days a week?
I will have Public Works Director Ken Sumalo come up and answer that question, but as he's doing it, this might make him cry. And that is, he is a new grandpa, too.
I have pictures if you'd like. As an official duty, as your maybe my last official duty during a city council meeting, I would defer that answer to our new Public Works Director, Dina Purvis.
He's also very smart.
Yes.
Okay. Well, are they free of charge, or do you put in a credit card? How do you charge?
They are not free of charge. They will follow the schedule of fees that council set in 2023, in fall of 2023, and you can charge them with your credit card.
And it's open to both residents and non-residents?
It's open to the public.
Open to the public. Okay, very good. And if we've taken away quite a few parking spaces, and I would be delighted, I'd be very, very happy if we used all of those machines simultaneously. But if we find that maybe only one or two are being used at any given time, would we consider removing some of them to get back to regular parking for our residents?
We will not restrict parking at all. So even if you have a gas vehicle, you may park in a charging spot.
Oh, well, don't tell anybody that. Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dina, so can you explain in a little more detail how you use a credit card to pay for the...
So there will be a screen that has a touch payment type of device on it. When they're on, the screen will give you directions and tell you where to tap your card, and then you plug it in.
So it's not like you have to be a member of the group. You can actually just use any credit card.
You can, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finished with your report?
I am, thank you.
City Attorney, report and comment. City Attorney, do you have any reports?
Mayor and Council, the Council met today in closed session, as you know. We had a large agenda today. There were 8 items on the agenda. Most of them, if not all of them, were for updates. No action was taken at the closed session that needs to be reported under the Brown Act. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are going, well, let me ask, does anybody have any questions for our city attorney? All right, seeing none, we'll move to the consent calendar. We have had a request to remove G8 from the consent calendar. Does anyone else wish to remove any item for further discussion? Anybody?
Move to approve. Move to approve with amended.
As amended, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, the motion passes 5-0 to approve the consent calendar with the exception of G8, which is the resolution amending section 2.04.020 of the City Council Policy Manual. Mr. Council Member, should we discuss that now?
Sure. Oh, thank you. This item would, if approved, require mandatory annual training for members of the City Council for the Brown Act. It's the Ralph M. Brown Act, not the Jerry Brown Act, and it's commonly referred to as the open meeting law, which forbids the council, a majority of the council, making decisions in private. And it also has some other aspects to it that govern the way meetings are conducted and so forth. I have a couple of problems with this. First of all, this would be this requirement for training for council members would be incorporated into the council's policy manual. There's no real sanctions if you don't undertake the training. That there's really no incentive for council members to take the annual training. Secondly, we all serve on various boards and commissions of public agencies. We get Brown Act training all the time. And if an issue arises where there's a Brown Act issue, and believe me, we all understand how to spot a Brown Act issue, all we have to do is call the city attorney and ask the city attorney whether or not what we propose to do would constitute a Brown Act violation. The other problem I have with this is I have very good reason to believe that the genesis of this has to do with a so-called secret meeting that allegedly occurred on May the 14th of this year, just prior to a city council meeting at which pickleball courts at the Indian Wells Country Club were discussed and was on the council's agenda. I have very good evidence that a couple of people in the community were responsible for spreading the rumor, and the rumor was absolutely 100% entirely false. In fact, one of the persons who spread the rumor, the general manager of the Indian Wells Country Club, spread the rumor through a communication to the membership of the Indian Wells Country Club, has now retracted his allegations. It's a formal retraction. It's sent out to all the members of the Indian Wells Country Club, and it reads in part, I want to formally retract those comments being the allegations that the Brown Act was violated. On top of that, the individual at whose home the Brown Act violation allegedly occurred, who lives close to the Indian Wells Country Club, has submitted a letter. The letter explains what the purpose of the meeting was. There were at least 100 people at the meeting. It was a dinner for the California Contract Cities Association. California Contract Cities Association is an association of all of the cities in California who contract for services like police, sheriff, etc. police, fire, etc. 4 members of the city council attended. It's a really important meeting. It's an important dinner for the city. The California Contract Cities Association annually meets at the Renaissance Hotel. They bring a lot of people to town. They stay at the hotels here in town. They generate a lot of TOT. And besides that, it's a very worthwhile organization, and attending the dinners affords council members an opportunity to learn what other cities are doing who are governing themselves similarly to Indian Wells. In any event, the owner of the home has given us a letter. It explains the purpose of the meeting that was held at his house, and he states, among other things, the allegations about the Brown Act violation are unfounded and untrue. Just wanted to set the record straight. Thank you.
Are you opposing the motion?
I am.
You would make a motion, please?
I move that we deny item G8.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion from anybody?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't be certified with the Brown Act. To your point, Greg, there's no penalty if we don't, and the more information and education we can get on living within the Brown Act is a good thing.
Well, it sounds like it's the Indian Wells Country Club that should be taking the class, not us.
Well, okay. This is interesting because it was my impression that the reason that this was made a recommendation by staff was not because of anything that happened with the dinner or the Contract Cities or the Indian Wells Country Club, but rather the Planning Commission felt that since they had to take mandatory Brown Act training, they felt that the City Council ought to be under the same guideline, and that was the genesis of this. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe staff should explain how this happened.
Let me interject. I don't disagree with what you're saying, and if you listen to me carefully, what I said is the genesis, in part, was the allegation that the Brown Act was violated, sure, we had a member of the Planning Commission attend our meeting, and he made the case that because the Planning Commission has to undertake this training, that members of the City Council should as well. My response to that is members of the Planning Commission do not serve on other boards, commissions, committees, et cetera, that are public agencies, and so they're not subjected to the same kind of reminders and training and so forth that we rather constantly get on the Brown Act.
Okay. Well, all right. I think I don't see any problem with this. It's not mandatory, or there's no penalty if we don't do it. But I think it's good that we have it offered because, and that we're directed to do it because the Brown Act becomes a big issue. It becomes a big issue in a lot of different ways on City Council, and it's something that's changing all the time. I don't remember if I've had any Brown Act training at any of my committees or commissions. So I think I agree with Dr. Taylor on this one. I don't see any harm in this, and it's a staff recommendation. Maybe we ought to have the staff. We didn't have a staff report per se, but maybe we should ask the staff to explain this in a little more detail. I don't know who that would be, but.
Sure, Honorable Mayor and Council. So initially, we did we made this requirement at the July 2025 meeting for all committees. As you know, a lot of our volunteers do serve on our committees that are not subject or not familiar with the Brown Act. So it's really important for staff to have this requirement for them. So that was how it was initiated. We did have a It is important for these members, advisory members, to have this training. They are subject to the Brown Act, and it's important for them to have this training. So we did bring this to the July meeting at the direction of the council. It was suggested to come back with a recommendation to also include it for the council. The council is subject to Brown Act trainings through their league and all other courses that they have to take. Again, this was just a direction from the council to just bring this back. So that's how it came out.
I stand corrected, yes. If you go to the league seminar, there is always available a Brown Act section training. So there's, anybody else have any discussion on this? All right, so there is a motion and there's a second. The motion is to not require, to deny the resolution amending section 2.04.020 of the City Council Policy Manual. It has been seconded, so we're time for a vote. Do you want to do a roll call on this?
Councilmember Sanders?
Yes.
Councilmember Penna?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Whitman?
No.
Thank you.
The motion passes 3-2. We will not amend the City Council Policy Manual.
Does that mean the five of us can go outside and deliberate on this? Just kidding.
As long as you make a decision in secret, it's fine.
You'll have to step over my unconscious body to do that.
There are no public hearings, and now for general business. Each matter will have a staff presentation and a time for public comments that in order to that particular piece of business. So we'll start with I.1, Indian Wells Golf Resort Financial Report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Kevin McCarthy.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Today, we're going to look at last year's financial performance of the golf resort, and we'll also spend some time talking about the new implementation of the new management agreement that is now 3 years old. As you know, the management agreement was really a paradigm shift in the way the City Council decided to operate the golf resort. The two primary factors that drove the discussion and the development of the management agreement were that the golf resort needed to be profitable and that we needed to hold the operator accountable for financial performance. So looking at last year's numbers, the golf resort's gross revenues, we peaked nearly $17 million versus a budget of $17.3 million. We missed gross revenue by about 2% during the year. The cost of sales, this is the amount of money that we pay for the goods that we sell, ran as a percentage of total revenue 15.5% to a budget of 15.4%. Likewise, payroll for the year ran at 51.7% to a budget of 50.6%. And the operating surplus, we missed the operating surplus for the year, but I am glad to report to the council today that we were profitable. Now, this is profitability for the third year in a row. The golf resort generated $201,000 for the year. However, we did miss the overall budget of $723,000. There were two primary factors that impacted us hitting our net income goal. The first was the closure of the Players Course and the impacts around revenues that it generated, especially during the height of the season beginning in March. The second item that we had was really more of, I will call it, overzealous budgeting of the rolling out of the Kestrel restaurant. We pushed a lot of covers or had the expectation that a lot of folks would come back immediately, and this really did not happen. Covers and going through the restaurant grew over time, and there was a little delay from the period that we had closed versus getting back to full stabilization. Looking always for the most positive side in this, I will share with you that one of the goals the council had was the return of the residents, and they returned much more than any of our projected amounts. So the residents are definitely coming back to the restaurant, much more than they had participating when it was the old View restaurant. So that is good news. Looking at our history, again, this is really a discussion about the implementation of the management agreement, focusing on long-term profitability of the golf resort versus what we had experienced in the past. And if you look for fiscal years 2009-10 through 22, for that 13-year period prior to the management agreement implementation, we experienced cumulative losses of about $8 million. That deficit was funded by our city's general fund over that period of time. And in layman's speak, to give you some perception of what that would look like, we experienced annual losses of about $500,000 a year. Since the advent of the new management agreement, we've actually had, over this last 3 years, we've had cumulative profits at the golf resort of $2.7 million. And again, in layman's terms, we went from annual losses of about $500,000 a year to now experiencing annual profits averaged over that 3-year period of about $900,000 a year. The other thing that the new management agreement did from the city council's perspective is that the city council required the operator, Troon, to now be responsible for all of the ongoing capital repairs and maintenance. And this simply wasn't the case prior to this agreement. All capital repairs and maintenance prior to this agreement and any improvements that we did were formed and paid for using the general fund and even dating back to the period of the former redevelopment agency. Since then, capital repairs and maintenance are now the responsibility of the operator. So much so, actually, that the city council approves a capital plan for the operator as part of your annual budget. So you require specifically what capital repairs and maintenance are going to be done by the operator each and every time you adopt the budget. And so I'm glad to report that since this has been in place with the new management agreement, at least over the past 3 years, that the operator has achieved an operating profit after capital expenses of $762,000. The other significant change that we had with the management agreement was the respect to management fees. The underlying tone and change when we updated the management agreement was that our partner, Troon, would no longer be an operator, but would be held as a financial partner and be financially invested in the success of the golf resort. And so prior to the new agreement, our management fees were negotiated, fixed for the year, and then subject to CPI. So it really didn't matter whether the golf resort did well, if it did poorly, if we made our budget or we didn't, the operator was still paid the same. There was no accountability to the city with that. Obviously, today that has changed 180 degrees. The new management fee is performance-based and is calculated on the scale that you see before it. So when you look at that first bullet point, if the operator will receive a management fee equal to 2.5% of the gross revenues when actual revenues equal or exceed 100% of the adopted budget. And the adopted budget is wholly controlled by the city council. And you can see how this now begins to trail off to the point where at the bottom, the operator would receive a reduced management fee of 1.5% when those actual revenues fall below 90%. And I think it's important here for me to not only speak to the council, but members of the public as well, to further identify that Troon, as the operator, does not collect any management fees on any food and beverage revenues flowing through the golf resort. Food and beverage revenues are specifically excluded from the management fee. However, Troon is eligible to receive a 1% performance-based incentive based on either meeting or exceeding restaurant gross revenues. And I remember when we were developing this agreement, how important that factor was to the council as to making sure that Troon was incentivized to make sure that not only was the restaurant operations first class, but over time operated profitably. Council also required that Troon, as I said earlier, become a financial partner in the success of the Indian Wells Golf Resort. And so since then, Troon has invested $1,250,000 of its own money as part of the remodeling of the restaurant. Council further required that Troon begin to operate all city events at cost. This did two things. One, essentially in your general fund, we decreased our operating costs by about $80,000 a year, and on the other side of those books with the operations, we actually decreased net income from Troon's operations by that same dollar amount. And finally, the city council required that we implement a new right to terminate provision in the agreement. And this occurs that if actual gross revenues of the council budget, whatever the budget the council adopts, falls below 85%, the city would have the right to terminate that agreement. And with that, that concludes my report. I'm available for any questions. If there's anything specific regarding the operations, we have senior management from Troon who's able to answer those questions as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Does anyone on council have any questions for Mr. McCarthy before we open it up to public comment?
I have a couple.
Not general discussion, which would come later, but any questions?
Just questions.
Yeah, just questions. Any clarifications or questions? Anybody have a question?
Yeah. What bonus did Troon receive based on this performance?
For the closing year, they did not receive any bonus or incentive at the Kestrel restaurant because they did not make 100% of the budgeted goal.
But the golf course?
So for the golf course, for their management fees, they hit 98% of revenues from the council budget, and as such, they were entitled to a reduced management fee of 2%.
So around, what, $34,000? 2% of the whole amount?
Of gross revenues.
It's gross revenue over?
I think it's about, I'll do the math to give you a better answer, but a quick answer is about $260,000.
So it's of the whole amount? Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? All right, let's open it up for public comment. Ms. Clerk, do we have any public comment?
Yes, I have one, Mr. Ty Peabody.
Mr. Peabody. Good afternoon.
I did not intend to get up until I heard that report. The fact of the matter is, this last year, you had $1.4 million less cash flow than the year before. You can blame some of that on the players' course, but the fact of the matter, through February, you were $640,000 behind. You talk about the Kestrel restaurant. I've built over 600 restaurants. The sign of a successful restaurant is an increase in customer count, higher volume, and profit. In all cases, they failed. And it continues to fail. It lost $32,000 just in the month of July, versus a $4,000 loss last year. Now you can live, and he can interrupt. You can live in the dream world that all is perfect. You have a situation coming up. When we voted on doing the golf course, and it was a 3-2 vote, I attempted to get everybody to look at some of the numbers that were being presented. One of the numbers was $951,000 of loss of cash flow between March and October. Through June, it's already $1 million. By not opening the course, and nobody told us this, not opening the course in November as pre-planned, your estimated cash flow loss in that month will be $300,000 plus. This is not a good situation. When we voted, be fair to Dana, be fair to Donna, be fair to Greg, we should have known that they were not going to open the course, or there should have been an estimate they weren't going to open the course in November. We should have known that they were going to not operate the course on cart path only for the whole next year, which affects revenue, affects profit. We should have known these things. Now you've got a situation here, you've got $800,000, and probably nobody understands this, called Food and Beverage Administration. If you were to apply that number, and that's nothing but hiding employees that should be assigned to departments, that number is just being hidden as a number. If you applied that to each restaurant and each food operation, every operation would be a loss. So I think it's time that this council hold Troon accountable. Troon has only hit 2 budgets in 10 years. And when I was on the Finance Committee, we kept asking them to go back and redo their budgets. They need to be held accountable for this kind of action. We can't sit here and brag about something that needs to be dealt with. There hasn't been, at the Golf Committee, at the Finance Committee, there was no discussion this last time of the problems of Kestrel. How do we solve it? It's solvable. But how do we solve it? Are we going to do something to solve it? There's been no discussion about how do we grow revenue and profit at this facility. We all know that there is going to be no return on investment on the players' course. That was told to us from day one. But it's time that the council start to hold the Troon to the feet to the fire and make them respond and be accountable for their actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peabody. Any other public comment?
There are no further comments.
All right. The council deliberation and action. Council Member Sanders.
I don't get it. Mr. Finance Director, Kevin, before the contract with Troon was restructured, when was the last time that the golf resort made a profit? Ever?
To your point, I don't know what year, but it was a very long time ago. A very long time ago, sir.
So we've gone back exhaustively to about 2010, 15 years ago. And on average, how much was the golf resort losing every year?
So the golf resort, on average, through that
11-year period that I just outlined for you was about $500,000 a year. We had a cumulative net loss of just over $8 million, just in operating alone.
Okay. And that was prior to restructuring the management agreement with Troon?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. I'm glad she's here today. Former mayor, councilwoman, it's all your fault. Donna Griffith, we're going to put her in the pillory outside for all the public to throw rotten tomatoes and eggs at her. No, in all seriousness, the city council in about 2022 appointed Donna and myself as a committee, an ad hoc committee, to figure out how to make the golf resort profitable. She and I made at least 2 trips to Scottsdale, Arizona, where Troon is headquartered. We sat down in one meeting with the entire senior management staff of Troon. And we hashed out some ideas about how the management agreement could be restructured in a way that would make the golf resort profitable. And we also told them if they want an extension on their contract, they're going to have to put some skin in the game. And by that I mean they're going to have to make a financial investment in the golf resort. And they turned white when we told them that. They originally offered, I think, $500,000. Through the good negotiating skills of our city manager, he got it increased to $1,250,000. It's like Frank Thomas, the former CEO of Wendy's, the Wendy's hamburger chain. Where's the beef? How in the world can you have served on a city council for 10 years and watched this golf resort hemorrhage money, having to financially be backfilled by the city's general fund, and then when the golf resort becomes profitable, complain about it? It makes no sense to me. I may have more to say, but before I completely blow my stack, I think I'll stand down for a little bit.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anybody else have any comments? This is a receive and file, by the way. We are not going to vote on anything other than to receive and file it. So
just a few comments.
Yes.
One is I'm glad that the construction of the golf course is on budget. I was worried about not having a larger reserve, but Troon said that they were going to deliver this project with a very minimal reserve, and they're doing that. So deep bow of admiration for that. I've involved with several other golf courses that are in the process of redoing their golf course. And one of them just pushed back their opening date by 4 months, not 2 weeks. And the members are beside themselves. Most golf courses in the state of California lose $3 million a year on food and beverage. I think you can check with anyone who belongs to a club that that's generally about the right number, maybe a little less, 2.8 million, but right around that number. For me, Kestrel is going to remain kind of an open conversation here ultimately until we have a real full year without a golf course being shut down, with both courses open and a good management team in place, which seems to be there now. We've gone through several gentlemen, and I'm very, very pleased with our current manager. And, so my hat's off to Troon finding excellent management to improve service and the food menu, et cetera. I got to tell you, as someone who is a single-digit golfer, has been playing since I was 9 years old, I spent some time out with John Fote. This golf course is so exciting. I can't wait to go out and play this 18th hole. And in fact, the last 3 holes are breathtaking, and it really opens the door for tournaments, and it opens the door for a lot of opportunity to generate revenue and world-class events, which the city is so famous for. So I don't see the same kind of doom and gloom. What I do see, and what I think you're trying to do, Mr. Peabody, by stepping up to the microphone, is just to remind us all that accountability and transparency is critical, and I think you can rest assured that all of us are aligned with that singular thought. We may have a different viewpoint than you, but we're absolutely aligned with that and want to make sure that that Troon is held accountable. And it's our belief, or my personal belief, in looking at the finances and spending a lot of time with Kevin, that indeed we are doing that. So my comments.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Reed. Nothing. Brian?
It's all been said and answered.
The only thing I would comment was the city manager talked to me about the delay in opening the golf course, and my time as mayor comes up in early December, and didn't I want to be mayor when the golf course opened? And of course I do, because I put a lot of time into getting this golf course done. But my response was, the most important thing is that when the golf course opens, it's immaculate and that everybody loves it. And I don't really care if it takes 4 months, honestly, before the golf course opens, as long as it's perfect and the grass is green and there's not a bunch of trash around it. I mean, let's have a beautiful, beautiful golf course and a beautiful opening. That's the most important thing. It doesn't matter who's mayor, who's responsible. It just doesn't matter, because, yeah, I voted against it because of the cost, and I thought, we had been snookered a little bit on what we were told originally as to what it came, and I still not happy with the way that was done. But after doing more review of golf course renovations in all of the golf publications, everybody's paying a lot to redo their golf courses right now. It's crazy what a golf course renovation or golf course redo costs now, and we're paying the price like a lot of other clubs and municipalities all over the country. So I'm just hoping for the best on this golf course, and I'm excited to play it too. I don't think it's ready to be opened. I went out there for a tour, and it's not ready. And I just demand that it's ready when it opens, and I don't care when it is. So that's my comment. The only thing we have to do is receive and file it. Does anybody have anything else?
I'm sorry.
I do have a comment. The prior council that voted yes for this golf course redesign, when you sit up here and you have to make a decision at that level, it's difficult. And you have to take everything and put it all in one basket and make an informed decision. And for that council to do that, and for it to, number one, come under budget, it's on time. I mean, we're talking about 2 weeks here, really? I've been a contractor my whole life. 2 weeks either way, side of the fence, you're golden. I have to commend you for whoever voted yes. Have to commend you, because that took big cojones. So thank you. We wouldn't be here today if we didn't do the Kessler remodel, the Troon contract, the Players Course redesign. Next year, the budget's going to be insane. The revenue is going to be insane, and we're not going to hear any more negativity about revenue. It's not going to exist. Well, it doesn't exist now. We're not in a negative position. We've had a restaurant remodel and a full course remodel at, $13.5 million, and it came under budget. And we still aren't feeding the lion with money from our general fund. How is that not a problem? It's not a problem. Thank you.
Councilmember Sanders, do you have
just,
more?
Just one more comment that I want the residents to keep in mind. When former Mayor Griffith, myself, met with Troon, one of the discussion items was the really terrible shape that the golf resort was in. There had been deferred maintenance, both landscaping and equipment maintenance, for years. Apparently, the city at the time took the position that, well, if we don't spend money, then we'll make money. That's not how you make money with a premium facility like this. And so from that point forward, we started correcting the deferred maintenance. And I understand that to date, and we're still digging out, we've spent over $1 million correcting the deferred maintenance issues that piled up over the many years that things were not done that should have been done.
Yes, sir. We've spent, you are correct, we've spent more than $1 million specifically on deferred maintenance, and now we have a brand new annual plan in place to prevent that deferred maintenance from reoccurring, which also includes an annual tree trimming program that is established in the Troon budget as well.
I recall vividly when the decision was made to go out and find a contractor to just get the landscaping back up to snuff. And just to come in and clean the place up, it was like $300,000. That was Leon's, a well-known landscape maintenance company here in the desert. It really makes the bottom line over the last few years even better when you consider that a lot of money was spent correcting deferred maintenance issues. That money would not have been spent. The bottom line would have looked even better than it does now if we hadn't had to spend that money.
The only thing I would add, thank you, Kevin, for doing the calculation on the management fee. I know I asked for that at the last meeting, and then we talked about it on the phone, and I really appreciate you bringing that calculation in here and letting us know exactly how much we are paying Troon for management of the golf resort. And it's good to know these numbers.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I did get a small update from Dr. Taylor's earlier request. So to make sure that I'm clear with the full council and the public, I'd like to restate it. So the Troon calculation is based on gross revenues with the removal of all food and beverage revenues. And this year, it received a 2% increase because it did not, the operator did not make the full budget. And the amount I had earlier estimated was $260. It's actually $277,000. So that's what your management fees were, sir, last year.
Thank you, Kevin. Unless there is any objection, we will receive and file the report in I.1. Is there any objection to receive and file? So we will receive and file that report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Going to item I.2, consideration of a historic neighborhood recognition program in partnership with the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation. Is there a staff report?
Yes.
Ms. Avila.
Hi, Mayor. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council. Angelica Avila, City Clerk. The item before you is the consideration of a historical neighborhood recognition program in partnership with the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation. The foundation has been instrumental in documenting and preserving the rich history of Indian Wells through its initiatives such as the designation of Casa Dorado as Historic Landmark Number 6, an oral history project in collaboration with Cal State University Fullerton, and various community engagement and educational programs. The foundation has expressed interest in collaborating with the city to develop a historic neighborhood recognition program that includes custom blade signs on street signs. This initiative would highlight architecturally and culturally the significant sites through interpretive signage and enhancing community awareness, heritage tourism, and preservation efforts. Comparable programs in neighborhood cities include Palm Springs and Rancho Mirage, which I'll bring up Palm Springs to the screen. Palm Springs Blade Sign Program Overview. Palm Springs, with their Blade Sign Program, promotes neighborhood identity and civic engagement. Established in 2008, Palm Springs Blade Program identifies officially recognized neighborhoods by adding signage to existing street signs. Key features include development in partnership with One Palm Springs, a coalition of 52 neighborhood organizations. Signage is community initiated, so the community does initiate this program, uses a city-approved template, and is funded by the neighborhood. The city does install their signage. In addition, we have Rancho Mirage, the city of Rancho, Preservation Mirage. Preservation Mirage started as an informal gathering of mid-century homeowners in Rancho Mirage, focused on sharing ideas about preserving mid-century architectural. As interest grew, the group formalized its efforts, electing a board of directors and becoming a registered nonprofit organization in 2017. In early 2021, an architectural map was created, as you see on the screen today, which highlights a brief history of Rancho Mirage. The preservation efforts also include a historic preservation commission, a historic resource survey, and educational partnerships with Preservation Mirage. So the proposal for Indian Wells, as you know, the city does have a historical and cultural designation program in Indian Wells for homes, which can also be applied for Indian Wells neighborhoods. This is a very formal process that requires a certified historical significance. The requirement includes an application and a third-party historical survey. And after submission, the process is reviewed by the Planning Commission. 2 homes, the Adobe and Cody homes, have been formally designated and received its historical designation from the city. The Indian Wells Preservation Foundation, in addition, has also independently designated 7 homes with the 8th one planned for December. These designations are not part of the city formal process. They are informal, but again, we do recognize these homes. Some key considerations for the council to consider is there any interest in exploring a blade sign program for staff, and recommend us in evaluating the key elements, which include program criteria. Should the recognition be based on historical significance or some other criteria designed by the council? And how is this historical significance determined? Resident support, is there the consensus within the neighborhoods of this program? Funding responsibility, who covers manufacturing and installation costs for the signage? And the public engagement again, what tools and methods can the city use to validate the community interest in this new program? And I will bring up, this is what was provided by the Preservation Foundation on what their vision is. This is just a sample. So council has options given to you in your staff report. Given the need for further research and policy development, staff does present the following options. Direct staff to research and develop a sign program in consultation with the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation based on the criteria, again, recommended by the City Council. Form an ad hoc committee to assist staff and the Preservation Foundation in developing a new program, or decline to proceed in any program at this time, or provide alternative directions. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Avila. Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Avila on this proposal?
I would assume that were we to acknowledge or advance in any way this proposal, recommended action, is that the designation does not maybe this is a question for council, but I guess he's out for the moment. It doesn't mean that a Mills Act is going to be approved or any kind of designation that impacts the ability of the homeowner to improve the house, tear down the house, change, his or her property. I would assume that this is literally a kind of casual, historic recognition of signage on a street. Is that the kind of beginning, middle, and end of this recommendation?
Yes, that is correct, Dr. Taylor. So it is the Mills Act is a second step to being historically significant and designated. So that's the Mills Act is a secondary. This is more of a proposal, either depending on what the council would like to do today, whether it be formal or informal on this as well.
And do we, as a council, believe that this should first go to, let's say, the Planning Commission for review and discussion?
Hold on that. Just ask if you have questions for her, and then let's get public comment, and then we can discuss. Davila on this? Okay, is there any
Yes, I do have. I did receive also a letter of support. I did provide you with Mr. Sheldon Anderson provided a letter of support. I did provide those to the council. They are available for public inspection and will be included as part of the agenda today. I do have Ms. Linda Blank for a public comment, which is the president.
Welcome, Ms. Blank.
Good afternoon. Linda Blank, resident of Indian Wells for 18 years and president of the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation. Also, I'd like to acknowledge my wonderful colleagues who are here today, Board Member Ginny Whitman, Board Member Kim Wilson, and Board Member Donna Griffith. So thank you all for being here. Officially, good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, Super City staff, Resilient Indian Wells residents, and I just mentioned my wonderful colleagues. Okay. The Foundation is grateful to the City for placing item I-2 on the agenda today. We're very, very appreciative of this. To Indian Wells City Council, the Foundation Board extols that this exciting initiative can merge seamlessly with your strategic goal to preserve the city's heritage and to do so in conjunction with the city's 60th anniversary, which is on July 14th, 2027. For starters, as described in Angelica Avila's articulate 3-page staff report, the focus is on, I have a cramp in my leg, sorry about that. Angelica, could I sit down just and talk from your microphone? My leg is cramping up.
Have a seat right here.
Okay, thank you. You guys have no trouble. Me, I do. Okay, so this is only 381 minutes, so trust me, I'll be done. I think I left off with, for starters, as described in Angelica Avila's articulate 3-page report, the focus is on an eye-catching blade sign placement program in the city's ungated historic neighborhoods. The city encompasses, as I'm sure you all know, 6 exceptional private country clubs, 57 gated HOAs, and 4 ungated historic neighborhoods. So why not start with the ungated neighborhoods? Foundation Treasurer Ginny Whitman's event calendar and membership report, item G10 on today's consent agenda, reflects the Foundation's diverse activities that have both stimulated discovery and sustainability of our evolutionary pursuit of neighborhoods. These events have been supported and made even better by collaboration with the Community Activities Committee. I'm a Libra, thus horoscopically optimistic and seek avoidance of conflict. Anticipating or hoping for a positive outcome from today's council deliberation and direction, our revised first foundation and free event of the season on November 19 in the council chambers with light refreshments is a takeoff of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, not the Blade Runner films, and framed as, let's talk about historic neighborhoods. Can I just finish? I have to finish, please.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yes, I wasn't able to
Thank
hear
you.
it right away.
Okay, I'm almost done. I'm
All
almost
right.
done. Okay, this, let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, this 2-hour community conversation provides public education and outreach opportunities to both inform and garner feedback from attendees about neighborhood historic heritage, its value to residents, including pride of ownership and site identification. Tentatively featured panelists could include, hold your breath, 1, neighborhood representatives like Sheldon Anderson and Martin Lax. 2, city manager Chris Freeland. 3, city council dudes such as Mayor Whitman or Councilmember Penna. 4, a member of the Planning Commission like Ken Welch. 6, okay, oh yes, okay. 5, steadfast city, no, I'm, my leg hurts. Steadfast city staff director of community development, John Berg. And next, definitely foundation board vice president, Kevin Mead. I, of course, would like to serve as moderator to provide diversity and to keep you all on time. With appreciation for your attention, but just one last announcement. As of yesterday, IWPF is feeling modern, popular, and cutting edge, as we now are on Facebook and Instagram with at least 10 followers. But who's counting? And many more will come. Thank you, Clear 29.
Thank you, Ms. Blank.
I know. It just started.
Linda, are you okay to get back?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Blank. Okay, so does anybody want to talk about this? I think that this may be a situation where if the council does want to follow up with this, we need an ad hoc committee to work on this with the city staff. That's my thought. And my thought is that Mr. Penna and Mr. Sanders would be a great ad hoc committee to do that in the event that we want to pursue this. So, Councilmember Sanders.
Well, let me say, I think this is a capital idea. We have an architectural heritage in this city that we should be very proud of. And I'm not suggesting that we do things that would cause hordes of people coming from all over the world to be driving down the street and bothering people while they're in their homes, like what happens in Beverly Hills and other communities. But really discrete kinds of signs like this, recognizing the history of different neighborhoods, I think is very appropriate. There's maybe some wrinkles that need to be ironed out. I think that would be relatively easy to do. And if the council wants me to serve on the committee, I'd be happy to do that.
Anybody else? Mr. Penna? Oh, Mayor Pro Tem Reed.
Okay, I bought my first house here in 1983. That's what, 45 years ago. I've never heard of Desert Bel Air Estates. And to now think that this is going to show up on Fairway Drive, not only will there not be hordes of people coming to visit Desert Bel Air Estates, I won't even know where I am. The homeowners association there is called the Rancho Palmeras Homeowners Association. Why wouldn't it, if you want to do something, which I certainly don't have any objection to, use common designation that everyone knows what they're talking about, like the pods down here, or the Rancho Palmeras homeowners. Rancho. Don't go back and use words that no one even knows and has never even heard of.
So are you saying you would like to be on the ad hoc?
No, and that's the other thing. I'm not so sure that the council, if this is a citizens-run thing, I think the citizens should do it and go to the planning commission. I personally don't think that the council should be involved at this stage. But I'm not in charge of that. You are. But at the very least, let's not try to convince people to learn a whole new language about Indian Wells. Let's use the terminology that we all use today.
Mr. Penna?
Yeah, I'd like to elaborate on that. So prior to the city of Indian Wells being incorporated in 1967, there were neighborhoods here that were advertised for folks to come in and purchase homes. Originally, I believe El Dorado Country Club was the first country club here, and then outwards from there, you had these developers, and they named their communities, just like any tract home anywhere else in the United States. So having this designation, it's basically just a recognition of how the city started. The city started prior to the incorporation in 1967, and these 5 neighborhoods, five, we got Indian Springs, 4. Yet they were already here, so they were here before Indian Wells was here. And what the Indian Wells Preservation is trying to do is to have that recognition so people understand where we started. And having this go forward with our 60th anniversary would be a really great thing. And it's not, and you're right, it's not going to bring hordes of people down the streets. We're not going to have addresses published. We're not going to have any of that like some other cities do. It's basically just reminding everybody where we started and what the names are. So these names, this Desert Bel Air Estates is an actual name. It was an actual community that was founded back, I believe, in 1963, and there's 3 others, and that's what we're doing to bring forward.
I spent quite a bit of time the last few days reading the agenda, which includes an amazing story from Palm Springs. If anybody else read that, it's a story of a group of people in neighborhoods getting together and forming neighborhood groups to name their neighborhoods and put up signs to acknowledge their neighborhood. But it can't be done, it wasn't done even in Palm Springs without the city. In Palm Springs in 2005, Palm Springs City Council passed an ordinance creating the Office of Neighborhood Involvement. That jump-started this whole concept of having neighborhoods, and I knew nothing about this. I don't know if anybody else did. I didn't know that Palm Springs had 47 neighborhood organizations that meet quarterly and get together and have parties and so on and so forth in their neighborhoods. And it's really, really a great thing that they do in Palm Springs. And this has been going on for a long time. And this whole idea of putting up signs started even later. That started in 2008, a couple of years later. And so the neighborhoods, this isn't even a historic matter in Palm Springs. The neighborhoods, councils or whatever you would call them, they got together and had meetings and they decided what to call their neighborhood, whether it had historical significance or not. Some of them decided they wanted to have historic put in their name, like the historic tennis neighborhood or the historic movie colony. But others didn't, and there was no historical significance whatsoever. But they were just neighborhoods that decided to collaborate on this and brought it to the city. And then the city had this coordinating group called the Office of Neighborhood involvement, and ONI. We don't have anything like that, and I don't know that we should have anything like that. We're not a big city like Palm Springs, although at the time, in 2005, I'm sure Palm Springs wasn't nearly as big as it is now, but there were a lot of neighborhoods. So I think it's something that's worth looking into. Obviously, this is just, I don't think, Linda, that you can be ready for this in November, because it really requires so much work to figure this out, how we can do that. Okay. But I do think it's worth, and I don't know what staff would look into this. Chris, I mean, who would be in charge? We don't have an Office of Neighborhood Involvement. Who would do this on the city's behalf?
It'll be a combination of staff from both City Manager's Office, Community Development, and the City Clerk herself.
And do you think it would be a good thing to have a ad hoc committee? Huh? Okay, let me just ask. I mean, would it be helpful to have an ad hoc committee?
Well, let me ask the question first. If there's a program the council wishes to do investigation into, that's the first question. If that is something the council wants to do, having a couple of individuals who can help guide where they think the program should go would be helpful, because one of the concerns that Ms. Avila brought in her report is identifying communities as historically significant. Who makes that determination? And I think that there needs to be some discussion at the council level to make sure that the council understands what that historic designation is. But then also there needs to be some community outreach. I think there were some comments making sure this is something that these neighborhoods want to do too. So we want to make sure that if this program moves forward, let's figure out what the plan looks like, but we also need to share that with the communities themselves. Is that helpful? There's a lot to be done before we can say that this is a program.
And I agree with Councilmember Reed, this needs to be something that's generated from these neighborhoods. That's what happened in Palm Springs.
And there is no Desert Bel Air estate neighborhood. There is no, it doesn't exist. Now, maybe it did 60, 70, 80 years ago, but it doesn't exist now.
Well, I don't know.
I've never heard anyone say, I live at Desert Bel Air.
So I would suggest that we need
Mayor?
some work on
Mayor,
that.
with your permission,
Yes.
can I ask Donna Griffith to please come up?
Let me just clarify this. Let me just clarify this for you. So unfortunately, Kevin Mead, who is our vice president, wasn't here today. He prepared a beautiful slideshow for you, but he wasn't here because we didn't know that we were going to have this much of a discussion. But let me just tell you, there is a Desert Bel Air estate. So all of you know, I've lived here my whole life. So it goes back to before Indian Wells was a city. Now I'm dating myself. And we did have communities here that were sold by developers. One of them was Desert Bel Air Estates, El Dorado Palms Estates, Indian Wells Village, and Rancho Palmares Estates. So there is an area that is designated, that was designated by a developer. These communities were built long before Indian Wells was a city, before you were here in '83, and they do exist. They're historically significant. They don't have to be designated as a historic designation. We can do this casually, and that would be for the ad hoc committee to decide, where it's a recognition as opposed to a designation. If it's a designation, then there is a lot more work that goes into this. But to have this be a recognition is casual, less work, really.
Do we even know who the developer was?
Yes, we do. That's why I'm really sad that Kevin, we have all this information, we have maps, we have everything.
Is he requesting this? Is this something?
No, I think he's long gone. One of the things that happens with their logos, which may or may not have been trademarked, the city does have the ability to figure out if it's trademarked or not, but we would request to use their logo, or we would design our own. If we request it, as a longstanding premier attorney, that if they don't respond, we can use their logo anyway. And so we've done a lot of legwork on this, which you are not privy to because you don't have this report that we have. So I know that our board would be happy to provide it to you. You'll see the maps, you'll have all the information and all of the history on really how Indian Wells started, and it was with these neighborhoods. So I would like to encourage you to have an open mind, Mayor Pro Tem Reed, and I'd be happy to meet with you and talk to you about it one-on-one, and maybe explore this. The reason that we were not approaching this as a community driven event is because we are so small, we are very brand oriented, and we really believe that we've done all this research, so we would like to start with Desert Bel Air Estates, and I can provide you all the proof that it actually exists.
I believe you because I love you and I believe you never lied to me. But at one point, a long, long time ago, it was named Desert Bel Air Estates. No one is alive today that
But I'm alive, and I know about it.
but you've never said, I live in Bel Air Estates. You've never said that once.
I think really this is missing the point. The point is that there's some, if we want to, as a city council, if we want to honor the past by doing something, this is being suggested as one way to do it. And there's a lot of ways to honor the past. I mean, before there was the Desert Bel Air Estates, there were tribes that lived here, and there was a well. I mean, so the question is do we want to do what Palm Springs and apparently Rancho Mirage have done, which is make some effort to have a reflection of our historic past, and the only suggestion on the table right now is putting up signs. I mean, putting up signs with these historic neighborhoods. So all I can say is that I think it's worth to spend a little time on the city to see if it's something that we want to do. We have 2 members of council who are willing to be on an ad hoc committee to work with it. I don't see the harm in it. It doesn't cost us any money, does it, Linda? Is it costing us any money? No. Okay. No. So I would propose that and move that we would have an ad hoc committee of Congressman. It's been a long day. I've elevated you. Or maybe Brian. Councilmember Sanders and Councilmember Penna to be on an ad hoc committee and report back to us at the next meeting or the meeting after that of anything that you think can be done along with the city.
I'll second the motion. I'm a little bit loath to say this. First of all, I'm not looking for work, but this particular issue really appeals to me. I do have a master's degree in history, and I did take a postgraduate course in local history. And local history is really all about sorting out the kinds of issues that Councilman Reed brought up, others have brought up. It gets down to what is history, and I know Brian Penna shares a passion for this kind of thing, so I'm confident that we can sort through all of this, working with the Indian Wells Preservation Foundation, and come back with a very cohesive, cogent recommendation.
Let's call
Anyone else?
Please.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, let's call the question. The question is, first of all, do we want to have an ad hoc committee of Councilmember Sanders and Councilmember Penna? It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes 3-2. We will have an ad hoc committee. and hopefully get a report back in the near future as to what's going on with this, to work with the city.
Historically speaking, what is the name of the committee?
The ad hoc committee on signs.
It's a Neighborhood Recognition Ad Hoc Committee.
Neighborhood recognition.
Thank you.
The committee hasn't been around long enough to be historical. How's that?
Okay, yes. I3, Coachella Valley Association of Governments, CVAG, multi-year CV housing, first memorandum of understanding, MOU funding request discussion. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do. I'll take the lead on the report and have staff as well as CVAG help answer any questions. Since 2017, the Coachella Valley Association of Governments has overseen the CV Housing First program aimed to help homeless individuals in the Coachella Valley. CV Housing First uses two primary methods to get their clients housing. One is Rapid Resolution, which is a program to help clients overcome the barriers that keep people from getting housing. This could be simple issues with resolving any identifying paperwork, assisting them in receiving various benefits they may be entitled to, or obtain needed medical, mental health, or substance abuse treatments. They also, at CVAG, use crisis stabilization units to help connect individuals experiencing homelessness to find housing, whether that be through hotels or apartment vouchers. Cities in the Coachella Valley partner along with the County of Riverside and other stakeholders to help fund this program. Indian Wells in the past has been providing $100,000 a year towards this program. This is in addition to the $250,000 in other city funding that the city provides for homeless services to other groups here in the Coachella Valley. Recently, CVAG announced an increase of city-requested funds to $125,000 a year, with additional increases each year based upon CPI. And that's a proposal of an MOU for the next 3 years. The City of Indian Wells has expressed some concerns with this increase and was asked to send it to the Finance Committee for its review. The Finance Committee reviewed it. They did not make a recommendation, as they felt the entire City Council as a whole should discuss the matter. Staff is seeking the City Council's consensus to take one of the following actions. One, provide funding for the CV Housing First program at a cost of $125,000 a year with additional CPIs for the next 3 years, as requested by CVAG. Two, provide funding for CVAG housing program for a period of less than 3 years with a cost outlined above. Decide not to participate in the CV Housing First program or provide alternative direction. This concludes my report, and as I mentioned, both city staff and CVAG are here to answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone on council have any questions of the city manager or Ms. Felci, who is in the audience? I see her out.
I believe she also has a speaker card for the item. So
Oh, okay, so you'll come up in a few minutes. Okay, after we answer some questions. Does anybody have a question of the city manager?
Go ahead.
No, I have questions for CVAG.
I do have a question of the city manager. We have a pretty robust level of contribution to homeless agencies that deal with the homeless issue. How much are we currently spending? How much are we giving in the way of grants?
So through the Grants and Aid program, we have 410,000? Yeah.
For homelessness is 200.
No, I'm talking about for all grants and aid or just homeless services?
Yeah, all grants and aid monies, the grand total of it all.
We have for 250,000 plus 160,000.
And the additional for CVAG.
Yes, but that is not done through the Grants and Aid program. That's a direct appropriation by the council for the program.
So the grand total is $410,000, correct? And over how many agencies is that money spread?
We had about 27 applicants last year. We were able to fund the majority. I don't know on the top of my head how many we funded. I can look that up for you.
And lots of the grants are $10,000, $15,000 range. Some are larger, correct?
Correct.
up to maybe $60,000 or
Yes,
so.
we see that in the homelessness funding is where we do the most. CVRM received about
Okay.
60,000 last year.
And does anybody know where we stack up vis-a-vis other cities in terms of the amount of money that we contribute to the homeless problem?
I don't believe we have that research.
Okay. I'm going to stick my neck out and venture a guess that we're in the top tier in terms of the amount of money that we applied to the homeless issue. And without a doubt, on a per capita basis, given the very small population of our city, we're way ahead of all of the others in terms of the per capita amount that we spend on the homeless issue.
Hi, Councilmember Sanders. Kevin McCarthy was able to pull up, so we did fund 12 agencies last year. For
12?
the 12 from the homelessness funding, 250,000.
Okay, great.
Doesn't the Housing Authority also give money? Doesn't our Housing Authority also give money?
That is from the Housing Authority,
Oh, that's from the Housing
250,000,
Authority.
correct.
Yeah.
250,000
From the Housing Authority, yes.
But you're saying the total of all city funds altogether is 410,000? Is that what
Correct.
I heard you say? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions for the city manager? Do we have any public comment?
Yes, I have two public comments. We have Erica Felci from
Ms.
CVAG.
Felci? Welcome to Indian Wells.
Thank you. I'm here quite a bit, actually. My son's grandmother is a resident. You all might know the name. My name's Erica Felci. I am a resident, actually, of the Demuth Park neighborhood in Palm Springs, where we do have those neighborhood signs. And I'm here today because I'm the Deputy Executive Director of CVAG, and I'm here representing our CV Housing First program. I will try to be quick. Chris gave you a lot of background. Let me explain why the increase. If you look at our annual budget for the CV Housing First program, we have been dipping into reserves. We've been dipping into reserves for a couple of years now. Earlier, a few months ago, we brought an item forward to our homelessness committee and then our executive committee asking how the committees wanted to address this. After much discussion, the committees voted to increase this year's contribution for this fiscal year to $125. Prior to doing that, they did ask our finance committee to look at that. That is comprised of city managers and elected officials. Our finance committee looked at whether to keep the contribution the same across the board, or whether to look at different ways of parsing out that by. Could be done in a variety of ways, as the committee discussed. Could be done by population, could be done by the size of the city's budget, could be done based on the point in time count, which is something that the county does to measure homelessness every other year. The committee came back and said, we're going to keep this as an across-the-board amount of $125 and are building in a CPI type index, so that way yours truly doesn't have to come every year and explain that we're still dipping into reserves and to try to keep up. This is the first increase in 15 years that CVAG has asked for this program. This is the same contribution that was always set. It actually predates to Roy's when we ran a regional homelessness shelter. And it is what funded our contractor before CVAG took over this program in-house. The costs have gone up over 15 years. Our budget is presented each year. And this year we were expecting every city to be a participant in the program. So I would just ask for your support for the MOU. If you don't want to support a multi-year MOU, I would ask that you support at least funding us for this fiscal year. We've had cities opt out of the program before. Desert Hot Springs did. They've rejoined this year. We had no indication prior to this year's budget that there was going to be any city that was opting out of the program. Our budget and our programming has been built on that. I would point out that we have been delivering services this fiscal year as well. We do coordinate with the local sheriffs, and while Indian Wells doesn't have a robust problem of homelessness, there is an issue. And in fact, we've actually worked with the city of La Quinta, and we've identified CV 200 clients near the tennis tournament, in some of the grass area near the parking lot, and there's some of the trees make for good shade, and that's where you tend to see encampments. And so we've worked through La Quinta staff and the sheriff to identify that. And Candace is going to come up and talk about some of our other success stories, if you'll entertain that, and then we'd be happy to address any questions. I do thank you for your time. Was I on time? Oh, look at that. Candace will not be, by the way. I'm going to put money on that. We did get your money for last year. Yes, thank you very much. Staff was very helpful in getting that through. I believe it was personally delivered yesterday.
Yes, we have one more comment. Candace Graff.
Okay, so I have a handout, so don't start my time yet. Yes. Hello, my name is Candace Graff. You know what? No, I don't have time for that, but that's why I gave it to you, because I really wanted to have time for that. So don't start my time yet, okay? Okay, so my name is Candace Graff. I am the management analyst for the CV Housing First program. Erica shared with you how the program works, but I really want to share with you how the program complements the shelters here in the desert and how we're helping a different population than the shelters are helping. So first I wanted to just share with you that we have a team of 6. Our staff has 73 years of experience in social and homeless services. We have 1 associate's degree, 2 bachelor's degree, 1 master's degree, 1 KDAC, 1, and a certified mental health specialist on our staff. A few stories that I just want to share with you. We have a gentleman that we've helped. He's been homeless in the Coachella Valley for 10 years. He suffers from severe mental health. He has been assisted by other outreach programs, but none of them have helped him to get housing or mental health services. So CVAG has connected him to mental health services. We petitioned to get him into care court, and we connected him to housing. Unfortunately, due to his severe mental health, he has actually been in and out of housing, but never returned to the streets because CVAG has always brought him back into the program and rehoused him. So we are still working on a permanent housing solution, but that's something that we do for our clients. This client, there's a picture on the 3rd page there. He has made a huge change with his mental health since we've connected him to services, and you can see the difference in his picture. Another one of our clients that we have assisted has a master's degree and used to have a very high-paying job until his Tourette's became too severe that he could no longer work. He then lived on Social Security income. About 5 years ago, he was hospitalized for 3 months, and when he came out of the hospital, he no longer had housing. He was on the streets when he missed a medical appointment for Social Security and lost his income. He was not assisted by any outreach team in the 5 years that he was on the streets until CVAG came along to assist him. We connected him to his Social Security again, and we've actually put him in affordable housing with a landlord who's understandable of his disability and is working with him. So it's not very often that you have homeless here in Indian Wells. However, CVAG does collaborate with the city of La Quinta, and we work on the border of Indian Wells. During that time, we actually have encountered a gentleman who used to be an Indian Wells resident. He wasn't able to sustain his housing here when his wife passed away, and so he became homeless. He lost his Social Security income while he was on the streets. Looking to put him on their CB 200 list. We were able to assist him to get him his Social Security income again and then get him into affordable housing. Also at the beginning of this year, we had a referral come in from the county of Riverside for a gentleman who was on our list. Our outreach team went out looking for him, and they actually found him in the city of La Quinta. In the city of Indian Wells. You know that our clients on the list travel from city to city, so even if they're on one list, they often end up in a different city. So we were able to house this gentleman. The encampment still remains there, just to bring that to your attention. And La Quinta has added another gentleman to their list who was actually an Indian Wells area near the Southwest Church. So just to finish up here, So CVAG's Housing First team does fill a gap in homeless services here in the desert, so that we hope you see the benefits of the program and that you see that it's great for all the cities and that every city's contribution is important to us to fund the program. So if you have time, I go ahead and read through, and please look at the pictures. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody like to, are there any more public comments?
That concludes our public comments for today.
Okay. Let's move to discussion. Who would like to start on this? Mr. Sanders.
Thank you. I have a deep and abiding interest in this issue. First of all, it's just unconscionable to me that in this country, the wealthiest country in the world, we have a homeless problem. It's heart-wrenching. It really is. When my wife and I lived on the Central Coast, some veteran friends of mine and I worked with the Veterans Administration trying to get the veterans' homeless problem in our little part of the world resolved. And I'll tell you, after being involved with that for a few years, I just have nothing but admiration for those who engage in this business. It is tough. You're dealing with not only people who have fallen out of housing because of financial issues, but you're dealing with families, with children. You're dealing with severe mental health issues. You're dealing with drug and alcohol addiction, and it's tragic. And so while we spend $410,000 trying to help resolve the homeless problem here in the Coachella Valley, maybe it's not enough. I can make the case that we ought to be spending even more. And you can take a hard-hearted view and say, well, it's enlightened self-interest. By that I mean, greatest way to kill the tourist industry, which we thrive on, is to have a homeless problem that's out of control. But I think for me, the real reason we ought to be supporting entities that are working on the homeless problem is because it's the right thing to do, pure and simple. So I have several concerns. Number one, we're spending $410,000 a year on supporting homeless organizations. Sometimes when you think you're doing the right thing, you give relatively a little bit to a whole bunch of organizations, hoping that it will help them help resolve the homeless problem. Sometimes that's not the right approach. Sometimes if you give bigger chunks of money to fewer entities, the money goes a lot further. You can help develop more robust, comprehensive programs, which, in my view, is needed in order to put a dent in the homeless problem. So that's issue number one. Issue number two, I'm really not happy with the CVAG approach to assessing member cities by just having a flat rate across the board number. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Indio has a population of close to 100,000 people. It's the biggest city in the Coachella Valley. Our full-time population here is 5,000. We give 125,000, Indio gives 125,000. Makes no sense. So on that basis, I just can't support the request. Third thing, I've had a chance on several occasions to visit the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. For those of you who haven't had a chance to do that, I would encourage you to do so. Based upon my experience, based upon what I know about what is needed in order to get a person off the street, get a family off the street, and get them into permanent housing, is all about going from homelessness to an emergency shelter, to stabilization, to dealing with the root cause of the reason that the person or family has been homeless, to job training, and into permanent housing. Coachella Valley Rescue Mission has a magnificent campus where they do it all. It is really impressive. And so, as a city council member who has to look out for the taxpayers' money and is obligated to try and direct money in a way that it will get the biggest bang for the buck, I just can't, I can't support a program that has had some success, the CVAG program. I have to look at an entity like the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, which has for years, decades, been involved in this business and has done a really great stand-up, magnificent job. I know that if money is directed at them, it will go to do the most good that that money can do in terms of attacking the homeless problem. So for now, that's my 2 cents worth.
Anybody else have any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Reed.
Say that again? Oh, thank you. CVAG is a joint powers authority, and we are a member of CVAG. And the idea of just walking away from a program this important that they're putting on, or in essence we are putting on, because it's a conglomeration of the cities in the Coachella Valley of which we are a member, is something that I can't believe that we're even considering walking away from this. Now, I clearly understand Councilmember Sanders' concern of $125,000 from Indio and versus $125,000 from us, but I'd much rather live here than Indio. And, you know, it doesn't bother me that I'm going to pay the same, because it's much nicer here, quite honestly, and I'm not interested in moving to Indio. I'm hoping that we remain part of the Coachella Valley family and that we support CVAG. Now, are they perfect? No. Can they improve? Yes. And how do we make that happen? We don't make that happen by walking away from them. We make that happen by engaging more effectively, and I'm going to support their request.
I had a question for Kevin, which I believe I may have asked prior to this, which is how much money do we give the two large homeless organizations, one in Indio and the other in Palm Springs currently?
Mayor and Council, Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, the city provides $60,000 a year, or at least last fiscal year. Oh, and Martha's Kitchen, yes, sir, $60,000 as well.
And so Martha's Kitchen, I believe, if somebody knows in the room, we can confirm this, I'd love that, is kind of involved in the management of the new Palm Springs facility, or no? Do you know? Does anybody know?
Navigation,
I think they are, right? Yeah, yeah. Right, the contract, right. So, and that 120,000 between the two, right? Is that part of the $250,000 you referenced earlier with a larger breadth of organizations?
Yes, sir, it is.
Right, so we then give out another $130,000 to a variety of other homeless-related organizations that are smaller. Is that, did I get that right?
Yes, sir, you did.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, in trying to move this forward, might I make a recommendation or a motion that we as City Council increase the amount of money that we give to the mission and to Martha's / Palm Springs, and therefore give each of those organizations plus CVAG $125,000. So the city will give $375,000 to homelessness and focus their giving to those three organizations.
I'll second the motion.
Can we hold the motion till, I don't think
Well, we can
everybody's
discuss
discussed.
the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay.
The motion's been made and seconded, and now we can have discussion.
Mr. Penna.
Yeah. So both those $60,000 grants are funded through grants and aid, and we do have a budget in grants and aid. So I'm not sure if we can even do that at this juncture. I do want to speak on this matter. It's unfortunate that at the local level we have to deal, not that we have to, that we are challenged to deal with this homeless issue in our state, and it's a nationwide issue. The federal government and at the state level completely took away all the mental health facilities 40 years ago. And since then, you've had self-medicating people on the street, and homelessness has exploded. Obviously, we have better weather out here than most states in our nation, so we are going to have a bigger problem here. So for me, I agree with Councilmember Sanders that we should increase what we give. We don't have a budget deficit issue in our city, and I can only hope that CVAG would take a look at these other two very successful missions and emulate them so they can take, I'm sure you're getting upwards of $1 million if all the cities are donating to help even further this homeless issue. I'm not done. So for me, with the veterans and the homelessness and our ability to help even one person, I can't walk away and say that I'm not going to fund this. That's just my opinion, because we just don't have any help from the state or the federal government. It's at the local level, and we are the local level, and we're fortunate in our city. We don't have homeless all around. They walk through our city occasionally, yeah, but we're not dealing with encampments and drug use on the street, and we do have to protect our city partners. We do have to protect our revenue income. That's why our city is where it is today. So all I can say is CVAG, apply your money, do a better job. Look at these other missions and raise the bar.
Okay. I think the motion is to increase, is to provide the 125, is it to sign the MOU for 3 years, increasing CPI, plus add $65,000 a year to each of Martha's Kitchen and the, it escaped me now.
Specifically,
Yeah.
a total amount of $125,000 to each of 3 organizations. That's correct.
Okay, and continue to provide what we were providing through grants and aid to other homeless organizations.
I'm actually suggesting that we focus the donation to these 3 organizations and not donate to the others. And we have to fulfill the commitment we've made to this year, but moving forward.
Okay, so do I understand the motion is to now give all of the money in grants and aid to the 2 organizations, and then also
Related to homelessness.
related to homelessness, and to provide $125,000 and sign the MOU for CBAG. Is that right? Is that?
I have a problem with that because I don't think it is in our best interest to reduce the total amount of money that we're giving to homeless. I think that the optics of that would be devastating and could really hurt our image as a city. So I am hoping that we can at least maintain the $410,000.
So are you withdrawing your second on?
No, well, I'm
clarify.
asking for a clarification of what the motion is.
Well, we now have a clarification. Huh?
What's the total amount we give to homeless?
So let me clarify, it's $250,000 of housing funds, and then there's been a $100,000 general fund contribution to CVAC. So it's $350,000.
Well, you said 410.
No.
No, it was because they asked what was the total funding for grants and aid. So there's an additional $160,000
so
that
you're
goes to
not
grants and
touching
aid that's
grants.
not homeless funding. I'll make sure that that's
Unless
clear.
it goes to homeless.
Oh, you're telling them that they cannot give it to homeless.
No, I'm saying that the total amount of money the city gives to homeless
Would be $375.
$375,000.
But
Split between 3 partners, 3 organizations.
So we're going from 410 to 375. Well, what is the?
Let me-
Kevin,
if
what
I
is the
can-
410? I asked you if it was 410, and you said yes. What is the 410?
I will clarify with Kevin's assistance if needed. $250,000 of housing authority funding
Which is city money.
is used for homeless services.
Okay.
Okay. An additional $100,000 of general fund
That's
is
$350,000.
provided to CVAG for the CV Housing First program. So $350,000. There's an additional $160,000 that's allocated for grants and aid for non-homeless services.
Right, like
Okay, so
food
the
bank.
410 is total, not just homeless.
Yes, that was the
Okay, I
question.
stand corrected.
Yes.
So currently, we're at 375.
350.
350, and we're going to go to where the proposal is we go to 375.
As we understand it, that's correct.
Fine. With that clarification, I am very comfortable with the motion.
And
So let me just say. So that means that, I don't know who all these other organizations are that are working on homeless, that we are now going to remove, under this motion, any grants and aid from. Do we know who all those organizations are? And
Yes, we have them. We pulled that up.
And as Kevin set that up, I want to make sure that there's an understanding. Even though they may, under the motion, not be qualified for that funding, doesn't mean they can't be qualified for the other $160,000.
Right, so.
let me just get the answer to the question here. Do we know who those organizations are?
I have the list, yeah. Here, I have it right here.
All right, and we're going to remove that. I mean, as I understand the motion, they're not going to get any of the homeless money anymore. It's only going to
Well, I
go
believe
to
that
3
was Mr.
parties.
Sanders' suggestion, that we, rather than spread it around, that we consolidate.
Okay, and that's a motion. I just want to make sure we know that. Yes, that's our
Yes,
motion.
so applicants, just to clarify, applicants can apply for either of the funding right now. So if homelessness, they can apply for the 160. We always encourage the applicants to only apply to one. So they can actually can apply for the 160. But we are currently funded last year, Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, Galilee Center, Mama's House Ministries, Desert Best Friends Closet, Fine Food Bank, Jewish Family Service, Habitat for Humanity, Martha's Village, Operation Safe House, Olive Crest, Shelter from the Storm, and Well in the Desert.
And they all are home out of the $250,000 homeless?
Yes, that's correct.
And who allocated that money? Was that the Grants and Aid Committee?
The Grants and Aid, correct.
Out of their budget?
Out of the $250,000.
Okay, does anyone, why can't we allow the Grants and Aid Committee to continue to supplement this homeless money that we're talking about? If they're so, if they choose to do so?
We need a bigger budget
then.
then. Councilmember, or Pro Tem Reed, we need a bigger budget. We have we don't have enough to allocate. So we have 250,000. How are we going to allocate more money when we don't have it? So if the council wishes to allocate money to these to CVAG and these two other missions, that's fine. Then we can pull those two $60,000 grants and aids out of grants and aid, and those can go to other.
We don't have to take it out of Grants and Aid.
Well, grants and aid cannot afford, doesn't have the money to pay the 125.
Well, you don't have the money to pay it, but we have the money to pay it. We
That's
can
my
just write a
point.
check.
That's my point.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me just.
The maker of the motion, can we leave it up to staff how to do this? But we do not want to penalize the Grants and Aid Committee. We do not want to reduce the amount of money that they have to spend. And I think they ought to be able to supplement the $375 for housing if they think that that's important, if they've come to the conclusion that that's important.
Okay, so we've gone from maybe we're giving too much compared to the other agencies. Now we're gonna increase our homelessness contributions by hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially. $135,000. I come into this believing that we're throwing money at homelessness and it hasn't worked for years and years and years, and it just doesn't solve the problem, whatever we're giving. And I also came into this today thinking that we shouldn't have to spend the same amount as other cities because we're not as big. But then after listening to my fellow council members and the people from CVAG, the one thing that comes back to me is that they who have much shall give much, and I do believe that we do have much here in Indian Wells, and that we should support CVAG. The other part of it, I'm not so sure about, so I hate to be forced to vote no on something that I actually support, which is to give CVAG the MOU that they're asking for. But now I'm being asked to increase our total homelessness budget, not only for them, but also for everybody else to $135,000, to the tune of $135,000, and give $125,000 to three organizations each, and increase our contribution substantially. And I just don't see that as being a reasonable thing to do.
Two observations. First of all, politics is the art of compromise. The second thing is a very solid case can be made that we, along with every other city in the valley, we're not spending enough. I don't mean to suggest that we just throw money at problems, but we have, based upon my personal observations, we have the Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, which over decades has demonstrated that they know how to rehabilitate people. They know how to get people off the street and into housing. And anecdotally, I hear that the Navigation Center in Palm Springs is doing a very good job. So I think it's incumbent upon us to vote for this motion and approve it.
So can somebody recall the motion, please?
The what?
Can you recall the motion? What is the motion?
Restate it?
Yeah, restate it.
The motion is.
Restate the motion.
Approve the $125,000 recommended by CVAG and increase our contribution to homelessness, specifically to two different organizations, by 60.
5,000 each.
I guess we give 60, so it's 120 or 125 to
120.
CVAG, 125, so $65,000 to each of two organizations.
Those two organizations are Mission and Navigation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And what about the other organizations that get money out of?
We're not
touching those. We're not
They can
touching
go to
those.
grants and aid and they can apply for.
We're not touching the grants and aid fund.
So what we're really doing is we're taking 65 and 65, which is 130 plus 25. So we're spending $155,000 more dollars on homelessness.
Except Angelica listed Martha's Kitchen as one of the recipients from grants and aid, and maybe you don't need to do Martha's Kitchen if we're giving them $125,000.
That's
out of
correct.
another fund.
But the grants and aid committee can sort that.
Yes.
Yes.
So I understand. I'm confused. So we are not going to reduce the homelessness budget of $250,000 other than maybe for Martha's Kitchen at all that's in grants and aid. We're going to continue to have that budget in grants and aid. In addition, we're also going to, make additional monies available to CVAG, Martha's Kitchen, and
Of the
and others.
$250,000 in grants and aid, $120,000 is for homelessness.
If staff can assist you on this, that's what we're understanding is $250,000 of homeless funds have been appropriated for this year for homeless services. What I hear from the council is $60,000 from Martha's, $60,000 from CVRM is being taken out of that $250,000 pot. So that's $120,000 that's coming out. So $130,000 will remain for the grants and aid to utilize. Okay, and then there'll be an additional contribution to both Martha's and CVRM to the tune of $65,000 each. And then CVAG will be funded at the $125,000 level.
Yes, if that's how you wish to do it.
I second the motion.
Okay.
It's already been said.
I do need clarification, though. CVAG has approached as a 3-year MOU. Just for clarification, is it for 3 years, less than 3 years? We just want to make sure that that's recognized as well.
Motion is to approve as recommended.
As requested.
As requested.
Okay, let's call the roll, please.
Call the roll.
Sorry, Mayor and Council, I don't mean to make this difficult, but looking at what we need to appropriate for this, we'll do $65,000 for each of Martha's, and in addition, the entire $125,000 for CVAG was not appropriated this year, so we'll do that as well. And so your total appropriation in the general fund is $255,000. Thank you. Sorry. Out of the general fund, yes, sir.
Just for clarity, we're going in circles here, but I want to make absolutely sure we're giving $125,000 each to CVAG, the Navigation Center, Martha's Kitchen, and Coachella Valley Rescue Mission, Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. Okay, got it.
For clarification, I want to make sure, is the money going to Martha's directly, or is it going to the Navigation Center? There is a difference there. They're two separate organizations.
My recommendation is that it goes to the Navigation Center.
Okay, that's not understood, but I just want to make sure everybody understands, that's not where the money has gone historically. Okay.
Should be earmarked, you bet.
Whatever we give in Martha's is included in that, but that's a different conversation. That's for you guys to figure out. In other words, we shouldn't be giving Martha's and Navigation Center two separate amounts of money.
Well, the recommendation is to give Martha, actually the Navigation Center, the full 125. That does not go to Martha's any dollars in.
Let me ask you, currently there's $60,000 being dedicated to Martha's or the Navigation Center?
To Martha's.
And the reason why is because the Navigation Center wasn't there before, right? So now that the Navigation Center is new and open and there, and they've contracted Martha's, then it makes sense to give the $125,000.
If that's the recommendation, but I want to make sure you understand, Martha's will
Yes.
not get the money. It'll be the
I
Navigation
understand.
Center.
They'll get it.
They get it because
Okay.
they're getting it from the, well,
Do you want to make a comment? Can we allow a comment from the room from an expert?
Well, that would not be me. I certainly know when to not speak about a vote, but you may want to direct staff, if not possible, to give to the Navigation Center. Navigation Center is a funded contract through the city of Palm Springs. It is, that's our understanding of it. I think that there's other contribution funds, so I'm not quite sure how Martha's does their funding, but you may want to also direct staff, if it can't go directly to the Navigation Center, provide the flexibility to give it to Martha's for sheltering.
That's fine.
Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we agree on the money amounts and ask our staff to make sure that we're doing what the intent of the motion and the second is,
Correct.
that the money go to where it's
That
supposed to
works.
go.
Perfect.
All right,
Can we call a vote?
call a vote, poll.
Councilmember Sanders?
Sorry, my mic will not turn
Oh.
on, so I'll just speak loud. Aye.
Councilmember Penna?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reed?
yes.
Mayor Whitman?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break before we go to council member reports. All right, everybody needs a break. We haven't had a break today.
I'm good. I have nothing to report.
We are back in session.
Yeah, where's my,
Okay, council members, reports and comments. Each council member.
Excuse me, Mayor, if you can turn on your mic, Mayor.
All right, sorry. Each council member may make a brief announcement or a brief report on their own activities. Council members may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff, or take action to have staff place a matter of business on a future agenda. The council may take action on items listed on the agenda. Councilmember Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll take only about 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's about what I expect.
That's the quickest way to empty the room out. I just have one item. I've been serving on the Coachella Valley Animal Campus Commission. When I woke up the morning after the council meeting in which I was appointed to the commission, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I did what? Because it was, at that time, a really thankless job. But the executive director, the new executive director, has just done an incredible job turning that around, turning that whole countywide animal control operation around. And so she's going to be giving us a presentation in October. Is that right, Mr. City Manager?
That's correct. She has been invited.
And it's really going to be worth the time listening to her because it really is an important task. And she's doing a great job. That's all I have to report.
All right, thank you.
all right.
Councilmember Penna.
Thank you, Mayor Whitman. Excited to say that Grants and Aid has more money to give out and to our community, so this is fantastic news. I can't thank this council enough for that vote. It's beyond expectation. Obviously, we heard from lovely Linda Blank. She gave us all of our upcoming Indian Wells preservation activities coming up here in the near future. And all my other committees were dormant in the month of August, so I have nothing else to report.
Councilmember Taylor.
The CVAG Homeless Committee just received its funding for the year. The Branding Ad Hoc Committee
Historically speaking.
is making a lot of progress on revised mission vision. We should probably have something in front of council here by the end of the year. Riverside County Transportation Commission, here's a magic number for everybody. 1 mile of highway now costs $10 million. So chew on that, when it comes to building a golf course. Anyway, that's all I got for the moment.
Nothing to report.
In terms of branding, we kind of worked on the mission and vision statement, the color palette, and so on. Nothing on JPIA. I was named to be on the board for the Children's Museum, which is coming up this month. The big issue for CVAG Executive, we resolved today, the MOU for homeless Cove communities. I think Topper went to that for me, maybe. I don't know, when I was out of town. Desert Sands, I went to the first day of school and greeted the students with the principal. That was a lot of fun, but it was about 110 degrees. Golf Advisory Committee, there's a lot actually going on there, but we do have a golf course opening in December, it sounds like. Personnel Committee, we did some work on that. Sunline, Yellow Cab is going out of business. How do you like that? And so the other cab companies, 2 other cab companies, Palm Springs and the other one, what happened was, I think they authorized a $25 charge for the cabs to charge people to go from the airport to anywhere, in addition to the other charges, and I think Yellow Cab just said, no, we're out of this. So that's it for me. The T Committee, I don't think we met. We may have, because who knows?
Who knows what the committee
Who knows?
So you might have-
I don't know if we met or not. But that's it, and unless there's anything further, we are adjourned to the next scheduled meeting of the City Council to be held at 1:30 p.m. on October 16th, 2025, in the City Hall Council Chamber with all kinds of new communication devices and cameras and videos. Right, Nick? If Nick's still here? Yes.
Shaking his head, yes.
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you.